Meet Tom Brisby, just an average, hardworking American guy.
Hey, my name's Tom Brisby, just an average, hardworking American guy.
Not that Tom Brisby. We'll get to him later. I mean this Tom Brisby.
Gumberky Man doesn't have a favorite color. They're all my favorite color. Yeah, baby.
Not him. Or him. No. No. Not him. Come on. All right, Tom. Let's focus. Come on, man. That's just Tom's way of saying hello. In fact, everything in this story is Tom trying to talk to you. He shot almost all the film himself. He played the music that we're listening to. He even brought me along to help explain a few things.
This is your thing. I'm doing this for you.
Sometimes my mind goes places and I forget that you're not coming with me. I gotta put you in the car and take you along for the ride.
So let me introduce you to Tom Brisby.
My name is Tom Brisby, and I'm breaking the world record for Minecraft's largest pixel art. The current world record holder is from a streamer named Tholar Tholarian. He made a pixel art that was 1,128,960 blocks. And it took him 28 weeks to make.
Yeah, so this is how this happens. Every one of these blocks was put down by hand over a period of months.
Tom can try and explain his vision to me when he's starting something, but I usually don't get it. My name is Laylee Brisby. Tom is my husband.
Like, I love to do the close-ups, because then you can just see how ridiculous. Like, it's nonsense up close. That's what I love about pixel art. Oh, it's Phil texting me again. You made that by laying individual blocks, yes, sir?
I bought these stickers of my face. I did not expect it to take the turn that it took. I went out of town for work, and he put stickers in random places all over the house. I found them on pictures in my office. I found them in the thermostat cover when I went to change the temperature. I was on the dish soap. I was on the magnet on the dishwasher. They were just everywhere. He claims that the last time I was out of town, he put my sticker faces on other things. But I think he's messing with me because I have not seen a single new sticker anywhere. I think he's deliberately trying to get me to lose my mind looking for stickers, and he's kind of an asshole for it.
Right. I remember that. It's a good story. So how about that pixel art he's building?
I did not expect Tom to go all the way through with his world record project, and my initial thoughts were maybe this will just last a couple weeks. Tom's friends are a lot like Tom. They don't like to get out much. I mean, Aaron drinks a lot and smokes a lot. And apparently before I knew him, he didn't really hold down very many jobs for long. So I know that there were some drugs. I know that he lived in a car, I think, for a while. I think Tom gave him a car, and I guess the car blew up.
It's a great place to start. My name is Aaron Anderson. I've known Tom for 1 billion years. And what was the follow-up?
No.
How would I describe Tom to another person? That's a really good question. I would describe him as determined, self-driven, and misguided. He likes his projects, and he likes to make little things.
I can never have that kind of focus with anything in my life. I don't know how he manages it.
That he's constantly moving, restructuring, making spots to put things, and creating new plans. He's got new projects he's looking at, which means he has to go buy things for those projects instead of a space to do it.
The laser focus that Tom has working on a project is mind-boggling.
The most structured chaos, maybe, that I could imagine for someone's mind to be. But I feel like Tom's is probably a little more chaotic than it appears on the outside.
Like the whole world's largest pixel art thing. I didn't get it at first.
Being the world record holder, biggest piece of pixel art ever created in Minecraft. That makes sense when you understand Tom and where Tom is coming from. If you're going to do something, do it the best that you're able to do. My name is Christopher Campbell. I live in Washington, D.C. I used to live in Detroit, Michigan. Putting down blocks requires minimal effort, just focus. It's click, 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 click. The mental acumen and devotion to doing it, to be so hyper focused, when you add in the devotion to the utterly technical, the method of doing things, and at the same time going for an outlandish, far out, high end, lofty goal, you put all three of those together, it is pretty much pretty much just an example of Tom Brisby in one small sort of microcosm right there.
Just like every other Tom project, this one started with an idea.
Like once he gets something into his head, he will see it through to its bitter conclusion. Hook or crook. My name is Kyle. Last name redacted. He has no quit, unlimited drive as long as he believes there's an inkling of hope. And if it won't pan out the way he originally envisioned it, he will nickel and dime it into a net positive, even if it's by 1 cent. So I can absolutely respect that. Where am I looking? I'm looking at the camera like a psychopath.
No, I'm gonna sit slightly off center.
Okay. Stare directly into their souls. Is that what you would like to
Roughly, yeah.
Tom always seemed like a bit of a odd duck. Yes. His approach to things was a bit more methodical. You can see the wheels turning.
What are you gonna do today, Tom, in Minecraft? I don't know. I thought maybe I'd put down some blocks.
You can tell there was something slightly off about Tom from the very beginning.
I said to myself, what's the biggest one of these in the world? I could top any number. That was my attitude at that time. I could beat the best because I was having so much fun doing these smaller ones. And then I found out who had the record and how big it was and said, I can do that. And then I guess I got started.
Tom, an unusual character. My son is a very talented individual. Hey, my name's Tom Brisby. Tom Brisby Sr., Tom's dad. Just an average, hardworking American guy.
There you go.
Well, it's just pretty amazing that when you would start looking at these blocks and putting them together, that, you know, they really didn't look like anything, especially up close. You know, when you're doing something with that up close, it has basically, very little appeal to it at all. It doesn't have any definition. As you step back and look at it from a distance, well, then you're going to see how involved all those little pieces really are. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of patience, and there's a lot of thought into all that. So, hey.
So the plan is become the world record holder for biggest pixel art by a large margin, and then talk to the people who are in charge of Hermitcraft and see if they'll let me join. Like, there might be other people who can do better buildings, there might be people who are better at redstone, but nobody can out pixel art me. I would take it seriously and give the guys, the proper amount of respect that they deserve for what they do. Because their building skills are amazing.
Worst things about being married to Tom are sometimes I feel like I'm reeling in a child. Like, the Christmas decorations got a little out of control. There's lots of childlike behavior that I have to deal with sometimes.
What the fuck is this? Like, what do I do? Like, who does this? It's just weird. So I'm trying to look through them. I'm also trying to not laugh. I'm Vincent Reggio. I guess you could say that I'm Tom's boss.
I got a shirt that says I'm Tom that I'll just wear. That's all it says. I wore that shirt to the Renaissance Festival one time and I counted. I had 38 people that I didn't know say hi Tom to me, and that was fun.
He didn't wear a suit. He didn't wear a blazer. He didn't wear a jacket. He didn't wear a tie. But he wore a T-shirt that just said, I'm Tom. This was like November. So I kind of thought that was bizarre. So real quick, I started understanding what my brother Dominic was talking about, that this person is a little different.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I mean, literally, he just looked like produce Jesus. Smelled like a grocery store. Denim shirt, denim jacket, denim pants, hair below the shoulders, scraggly in the face. Yeah, my name's David Hunt. I'm an Ohio native, transplanted to Florida, thank God. Spent 27 years in automotive retail. He walked into a dealership that I was actually contracted to hire and train for.
So instead of like a printed out resume, the way that you're supposed to do it, Tom decided to handwrite his resume on a series of note cards. I still have those note cards somewhere.
We sat down and we started to talk. I had preconceived notions as to what was in front of me. And quite honestly, by the end of the interview, I was amazed.
And I'm interviewing for a position here I'm not used to interviewing something like this. This is just totally, I've never dealt with this. And then he starts like referencing the resume. And he's like, and I'm trying not to laugh at this point. I'm literally like, I'm holding it in because he's like, if you go to note card 3, he's like referencing them by number. He's like, if you go to the second paragraph and I'm flipping through these note cards. Tom has like degrees and stuff that aren't going to help him here at all. Yeah, he has a degree in physics, not really going to help you here in the produce business.
Now, as Tom left, I will say this. I was approached by the sales manager and the general manager asking me what the hell I thought I was doing. And I said I was giving an interviewee an interview.
I like him. I definitely like him, and he can work here. How is he going to fit in? He's not. He's not going to fit in here. There's no way. He's not going to fit in here.
Tell me you're not going to hire the guy. I'm going to hire the guy. I had the interview. They didn't. All they did was judge on the outside.
I would have hired Tom if he didn't have produce knowledge, but he did have the produce knowledge. He did understand. He knows the difference between endive and escarole. He knows the difference between Florida red potatoes and old crop North Dakota red potatoes. He probably learned it from when he was about 8 years old till now.
At 6 or 7, he started going to work with me every Saturday. We used to go to the market. I had my own business down there. I had a stand in Eastern Market, and Tom would go down there and being the cute little kid, he would try and con people into buying things from me using his well, maybe I was exploiting him a little bit there, possibly, but...
You judge a book by its cover, I'm going to say Tom's a little too goofy to work here. That's what I would have said. But he's turned into be very, very good at his position.
He really doesn't give a fuck what people think. It just doesn't matter to him. What matters to him is for him to make a difference. And that, to me, was the biggest thing that I took away from my time with Tom, was to watch people interact with him.
Tom bought me 2 tickets to see Hamilton in Chicago, with the stipulation that he wouldn't be the second person to go. They were really good seats, but he didn't want to go.
I've never talked about this or told this to anyone, but Tom bought the head of shipping. He bought him a trophy once and handed this guy a trophy. Grown men don't usually get gifts for other grown men, and nobody really gets a trophy for being at work. So this guy got the trophy, and he's like, thanks, I guess. Like, he didn't really know what to do with it. Word got to me. Do you know that Tom bought someone a trophy? Yeah, I heard. And I was not shocked. Little things like that are going to happen here. Kind of like right out of a sitcom like The Office, where, somebody does something totally weird. One person just totally expects it, and the other person's sitting there and looks at the camera. Like, what's going on? It was one of those scenarios. And there's been a lot of those scenarios with Tom.
I'm not strange unless somebody's watching me. So everything I do is perfectly normal from my perspective.
So I don't have a personal life with people here. I really don't. There's really no communicating. If I'm calling or texting somebody after hours, it's work related. Tom will still text me though, send me funny things. And some of them are so fucking hilarious that I have to respond. I mean, we were working one day. I was not in the office that day, but somebody took a picture of Tom and he was wearing a solid gold suit. And I just got it and I was dying. I was just dying laughing. I'm like, he went to work in that today. And like, I even sent it to other people. Like, people were like, this is my employee. They're just dying.
He is his #1 fan. He thinks he's hilarious. He thinks that he is the most funny man on the planet, I think.
The Macho Man picture was just way too much. That was way too much when I got that one. I think I was in a meeting with somebody and I just pulled it up and I had to try not to laugh in front of them. That was awesome.
Tom interacts with stuffed animals as if they're sentient beings. They have personalities, they have jobs sometimes, depending on the animal. There are medical professional stuffed animals in the house. When I get sick, Tom takes Dr. Barrington, one of those little huggy bears where you squeeze it in his arms open up and clips him either on my clothing or on my blanket around me. At first it was a little strange, but now it's normal. Like, I just expect Dr. Barrington to show up if I'm not feeling well.
He's a little different. He's a nice guy, you know, but a little different.
My name is Sarah Blackburn. I'm Tom's sister. When I thought of Dad, I thought he was the coolest guy ever. You know, he was very 70s. He had the aviator style glasses. He had the shaggy hair. He was always really mild-mannered and calm.
Tom, hey, I want you to focus a little bit here. The pixel art, remember?
I'm not sure if I consider pixel art to be real art in the way that most people think of art.
It's absolutely art. It may be more methodical way of going about it, but that doesn't make it any less of an artistic endeavor.
You know, when I was sitting with him, I got to think about this.
As a child of the 80s, of course, everybody's always looking for that nostalgia bump, and no greater place to find that than in pixel art and in pixel artists.
Like, if detailed Minecraft stairs made out of pixel art is your thing, then boy, have you come to the right place.
Sometimes you didn't understand what was happening for a week or more because it was that much detail going into the stairs and the dragon and the city in the background. That took forever to realize how awesome it was.
Have you heard the expression, youth is wasted on the young? I'm Vogt. I'm an associate professor of history at Lawrence Technological University. Tom was my student some years ago. Tom knows that I like Tom, but I don't like Tom's project.
The things that he sets his mind on, to me, are things that I've never even considered in my life spending time on, but fuck, he does it.
I thought this is the kind of rote activity normally only a convict would undertake. You might do this if you were in jail and you couldn't get out and do anything else, and you just needed some repetitious activity just to keep from going crazy, right?
I'm kind of a Candy Crush freak myself, so maybe that runs in the family.
With Tom's near psychotic tension on his task at hand, I think he's perfectly suited for pixel art. You need the dedication, you need to put the time in, and you need the focus and drive to see it through. It's something that he can grasp analytically through sheer effort and willpower. He can produce results that he would not be able to if he were to try to do it by any other means. There's an essay written by a German philosopher named Walter Benjamin. A very famous essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. Traditionally with works of art, paintings and sculptures, to experience them you have to travel to wherever they are. But in the age of mechanical reproduction, works of art can be duplicated. So he was talking about a work of art that was created by a human being and then mass-produced by machines. Tom's doing something that Walter Benjamin never anticipated, right? Tom's actually imitating a machine. Rather than having a human creation that the machine duplicates, Tom is doing something that is so laborious that is of the sort we would normally assign to a machine.
His devotion to things, that Zen focus, knowing the past of Tom, the things that still must be weighing on his mind that have to be tackled still today, and throwing yourself fully into something just because you have an idea and you want to see it through, and you dedicate yourself to something that is yours from point A to point B. It's got to be connected.
This is supposed to be about the pixel art, but this sounds important. What's he talking about?
Everybody's past affect how you are. He had a rough upbringing in certain areas.
Tom does not talk about his childhood.
I guess I don't know I could say a lot about Tom's childhood. Bits and pieces, no more or less than I would expect from most people.
I usually don't ask about people's childhoods either, so I don't know anything about Tom's childhood. I think that is pretty safe to say.
Tom and I, we really haven't talked about his childhood very much. Corey, my name is Corey Lawrence. And right there in the middle of the wedding, he wanted to have an actual sword fight in the middle of his wedding.
What I recall the most about that was Corey being terrified. He was terrified about it. He was scared. He was sweating. Came up, he was like, Campbell, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do this. Like, what? He's like, these are fucking weapons, dude. Like, he was dead serious about it.
And we created this whole choreographed fight scene right there in the middle of his wedding. And that, I mean, I don't ever want to see that thing on YouTube.
Why are there weapons? And that was kind of the thing about it, is that was the tell that whatever was going to happen, there's going to be the potential for bloodshed.
You know, who has we had actual swords.
What happened when Tom was younger?
Tom doesn't like to talk too much about the bad stuff that's happened.
Why do you think that is?
I'm sure it comes from a place of deep hurt. That it's just really hard for him to talk about that stuff.
I think it does impact the way he behaves now, because we had, growing up, a rough childhood. You know, our mom was kind of abusive, and he took the brunt of it.
I didn't have the best start to life. There was a lot of things going on in my house that weren't right, that I was probably too young to understand at the time.
It was pretty hard to watch how we were treated by Mom, and then having to deal with, you know, the divorce, and, you know, how Mom had an alcohol problem and a substance abuse problem.
Tom's childhood was rough, from what I understand. I know that there was abuse from his mother.
You know, she would have her drinks and take her pills, and then she would turn into like this psycho crazy, you know, rage machine.
Oh, it was mainly pills, just, you know, opioids, uppers, downers, and alcohol. That's mainly what I knew about.
There was one time right before I left that she had come into my room at like 2:30 in the morning with a pair of scissors, and I thought she was going to stab me.
I think those things were all fueled by a mental illness. And now, when I look back at it, I feel she was probably just self-medicating, you know, trying to find a normal feeling, which is trying to do through drugs.
I think I was maybe 9 or 10. Dad had brought over a birthday cake from Baskin Robbins for my birthday, and Mom was mad at him for whatever reason and took my cake and slammed it on the floor and ruined it right in front of me.
Wasn't easy because of your mom. She didn't make it easy. She didn't make anything easy for anybody. She was a difficult person to deal with back then. You know, things, she wanted everything her way, and that was it. So, you know, she was trying to control everybody's lives, even when you weren't living there. So.
There was one time where she stabbed him in the arm with a knife, and he was in a sling and had stitches and all that stuff.
Tom does not talk about his childhood.
I don't know the exact details, but I have an idea of how he grew up. There are only so many scenarios of upbringing, and I can render them all.
A lot of times when kids go through something that traumatic when they're that young, it breaks the part of them that knows how to feel things. I always felt like in social situations, I never knew what to do. I don't know what's normal. I can't feel that the way that other people seem to naturally be able to pick that up.
I don't know the specifics, but I believe there's an issue with an addiction. And I am aware that she killed herself.
Yeah.
It was a surprise. I know she weakly tried to commit suicide a few times before that with not taking, you know, overdoses of medication. But she ended up in the hospital a couple times, got her stomach pumped out, and it was never anything that was going to actually kill her, you know. So to end up shooting herself in the head was a pretty hard thing to accept.
What about the suicide note? Did that sound like something she'd write?
It did sound. It was in her handwriting, and it sounded like something she would have written, because I did read it, and she was in a pretty dark place, pretty low place, and probably was messed up on on drugs, and I guess carried it out this time, you know.
Now the conversations about his mother were more of when she passed, how his feelings weren't the same as everybody else who had a similar loss of a parent.
Certain people are just toxic and cancerous. They're not even people, if you ask me. So I'm not going to treat somebody like a human being that isn't acting like a human being. If the only thing they want to do is try and make someone else feel bad, that's their goal in life, they can die. I'm not going to cry
I've never seen Tom cry. I asked him the last time he cried, and he said, I don't remember.
I don't know. It's like there's just this no volume on my emotions. Like I don't hear things. For me to feel an emotion, you got to really crank up the volume on it, and then I can hear it. But most of the time, it's just this very quiet, dead static.
I think the negative parts of Tom's childhood ultimately made him who he is today, and made him want to be better than that and stronger than that.
How strong is strong enough to where you just wish that you would get a break? You know what I mean? Like, I'm stronger than I should have to be. And I feel like you don't get to be that strong without also having it make you weak in other areas.
I wish that Tom would share more. I don't like that he's holding things back.
I'm so sorry, buddy, to have to go through all that. How are you feeling about that now?
At the end of the day, we all got shit to carry around, and you can choose to be excellent to each other, in the words of Bill and Ted, or you can choose to make your crap other people's crap. I promise you, it'll leave you feeling empty. You're not going to find meaning that way.
Basically, something about suicide. A person who is considering suicide doesn't want their life anymore. So you can get rid of it by building a new one. Build a new life. That's a kind of suicide.
I think he developed his own coping mechanisms. Maybe Minecraft and things like that is one of them. But yeah, I'm very proud of him.
Tom has many hats and wigs and costumes and voices.
Put it on the front page. Cash money for pictures of Spider-Man.
And will slip into them just for fun. Gonna burk you, man, Randy Savage.
Now, Hulk Hogan, I got a word for you, brother. Hulk Hogan, you sold me out. You sold me out, you hot dog and prima donna, show stealing, spotlight grabbing son of a gun. If I call you out, I'm gonna do it like a man, and you're gonna do it to me to my back? No, sir. No, sir. You have disgraced the red, white, and blue that you stand for.
And Batman.
Where's Gumbercules? Where is he? I'll find him, and then I'm coming for you.
And Anonymous.
What you should be focusing on instead is the ideas that I stand for, the triumphant will of the human spirit to accomplish the seemingly insurmountable against even more seemingly insurmountable odds.
I think maybe it's easier for Tom to be characters. He's probably a character when he goes out in public, and I just don't realize it.
Pretending to be someone else, that's a great way to expand your comfort zone socially. There's no personal rejection. Like, if you get it wrong, they don't reject you, they reject your character. And that's way different.
What do you think about Tom dressing up as these alter ego characters on his Twitch streams?
Well, I don't know where he would get that from.
What made you come up with the Randy Savage costume?
Well, the Macho Man was a character that I felt that I could really get into, and I could just slip into him just like that. Yeah, baby. And I've always resonated with the Macho Man in general. Like, he's a really outspoken personality. Ooh, yeah. And it's just a part of myself that when I pretend to be the Macho Man, I can really get in there. And I can be this powerful, this energetic man. Yeah, this charismatic force of nature. And that's something that has always been interesting to me. So through the power of just pretending, I can kind of be a little bit more than I am now. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. We need to know the
If they wanted to know who Tom was, I'd have to say probably look a bit further into that and see that there's a constant human EXE program always playing there, always running an algorithm to make sure he hits the right points that the person that he's crafted would hit.
Tom's social skills when I first met him were troublesome, trying.
There were issues that I had, social issues I didn't understand. And it took me until after I was out of high school before I understood kind of what was wrong with me. And then I was able to start working on myself to try and learn how to grow past it.
And I feel like a lot of times Tom is in character as a person, and he's only allowed to be out of character when he's by himself.
Well, the term social algorithm, Tom is a guy that has a definitive process when he's accepting information, and that includes when he's interacting in a human way. I used the word algorithm because it is a technical term that Tom would truly understand. Putting social with it, that takes the mystery and the human element out of it, and it's just another math problem to solve.
I would study the groups of kids at other tables, and I would look for whoever was like the leader of that little social group, and I would kind of practice what he was doing.
I think he's more analytical in the way that he looks at social interactions than most people, but I think that either through practice or study or both, he's developed a sophisticated way of socially interacting with people. My name is Matt Peterson. I am the quality assurance manager at I just never would think to run some of the social experiments that he runs. So I think in another life, Tom could have been, and maybe could still be, some kind of social scientist.
Tom has a way of turning on this charisma. He puts on the charm and is very well accepted by everybody, and people don't even realize that Tom has anxiety and that Tom doesn't like to go out.
Tom can take two people that have very different styles or different expectations or different understandings of a situation and kind of translate it into a message that's more palatable to both parties.
You could call them little programs that I would run, and then I would know if I act this way to somebody, they would act this way back to me. And slowly over time, I was able to build, a personality for myself, which I really didn't have up to that point.
Yeah, I think the thing that's funny about Tom and sometimes scary is you never quite know he's running some kind of social experiment and you're part of it. That doubt creeps in, and it's like, is Tom messing with me? Like, is there some kind of measurement that's coming out of this that he's tabulating to be more effective in some way?
If I'm describing my own personality, I would have to say, from my perspective, it's artificial.
I think it's definitely a testament to a person if they take the time to learn how to interact with other people and how to be social, even if it's part of a script they have in their head of things that you should do in public. I think that's admirable.
It's something I still do today, but it's not perfect. The longer I hang out with somebody, the more they'll kind of start to pick up on it, that it's not 100% like authentic. But that's pretty much the best I've been able to do for myself.
So I had to learn differently how to teach with Tom because his social skills were buried very deeply inside the caverns of what is Tom.
I don't know. Some of your skills probably weren't where they needed to be in that sense. Definitely have gotten better over the years here in terms of relating with people and understanding people.
Tom taught me, I would call it ambivalent patience.
Tom kind of kept to himself a little more.
Some of the social, ineptitude would just shock me. But then his fighting through that and some of the ways that he would communicate differently than anybody in the industry that we were training for.
In terms of relating with people and understanding people and just having a better idea of what's going on out there,
So for him to fight through all of his social inefficiencies, but yet still strive to make a positive difference in what he was doing, that struck me huge. And today that's at my core.
Tom's definitely learned a lot of social skills over the years, people have told me. And I know that being around his family, that he definitely is different. And I knew he was different.
The way he would communicate was so different, it struck people in a pausing manner. And what that did was, it was kind of the shock and awe. Okay, I'm going to smile. I'm going to shock you with what you're about to hear, but then I've got your attention. And he would always follow it up with something in their language.
I had mentioned that Tom's social skills may have been a bit lacking when I met him.
What happens when his human exe misfires? When there's a runtime error, you get these anomalies in the code.
A Tom story is a glitch in the matrix. A Tom story is an example of my social interaction not being quite there. I try to convey interesting stories and information to friends and family because that's how people interact with each other. But sometimes I'll tell a story and think I'm doing that, and the story will be over before it's interesting.
I think this is the biggest example of a Tom story and why we started recognizing how often he told Tom stories.
I was there when we properly coined the phrase. The original Tom story is he was telling Aaron that
Tom's like, so I went to the store the other day. Yeah, they had 12 packs of pop on sale for $2.99. I was like, okay.
And that was the beginning and the end of the story. He just wanted us to know that there was a sale on cases of pop at Kroger. Not that he bought any, not that he was planning on buying any, not that he thought the sale was good. Nope, just that there was a sale. There was a fact, and he presented it as a story.
Like, why did you tell me that? Like, you didn't tell me, hey, you should go get pop, it's on sale. Just, this was on sale, I took advantage of it. Good for you, Tom. Like, okay, that's a Tom story. So I went to the dentist, and he told me I had this crack in my tooth. Yep, it's going to cost me like $300 to fix it. Okay, that's it. Why did you tell me that? Is your tooth fine now? Oh no, I haven't had the work done yet.
Wow, I'll have to try that next time I go to the bar. So are there really that many people who are into this Minecraft?
Apparently a lot of people are into this Minecraft.
I know of Minecraft. I've never done it. I've never played it. It's not my generation.
It's sort of a computer equivalent of Lego. You take little blocks and you build things from it. I think there are basic types of blocks. Wood, brick, I'm not sure what else.
Minecraft is hugely popular. Most people don't do it the way Tom does.
I used to not like Minecraft. I never got the game. Kind of changed my mind about the whole thing and realized that maybe it wasn't so much what I had thought Minecraft was, and it was a little bit more what you could do with the game. And Minecraft is one of those things where it can be whatever you want it to be.
I don't understand much about Minecraft whatsoever, but through the eyes of my 13-year-old son, the thrill he would get about building the trapdoors and the houses and then, killing the sheep to get the meat and survival out there.
Minecraft is a good escape. If you feel like you need a place where you're in total control of things, I would say that's a good place to start. However you see the world, you can bring that into reality with this game.
It's a game for all ages, but it's definitely not a game for all people. It's got a nostalgic appeal because of how low grade its graphics happens to be. And there's a lot of repetitive action. People who find such action cathartic, it's for kind of a younger audience, or for people who enjoy a lot of repetitive action, being very useful for people who are autistic, for example.
I got a little bit of autism or something inside me. I've got symptoms. I do.
I mean, if we let's break it down to elementary, Roy G. Biv, there is no color in a spectrum that can describe where Tom is.
I do think Tom might be on the spectrum, and also I feel like Tom has a hyper focus, which is why he's able to set his mind to something that he's very passionate about, because he's so focused on getting that one specific thing done that it does happen.
And it usually happens a lot faster than what other people might be able to achieve.
And Tom taught himself how to play the piano, and he can play songs solely just by hearing them. He can't read a lick of music, but he can play the piano beautifully.
Tom's music makes me angry because he never learned how to read music. And I spent years learning to read music, and I can't play as well as he can on the piano. But at the same time, I love it because he can just pick anything up by ear and play it.
I think your music has surprised me. You've really gone a long way with that over the years. Without having the training, you've really done a good job at it. It's gone a long way. I started music when I was a kid playing piano, and then I think it was just an imitation. I just tried to copy whatever I was playing and do it the same way.
Grandpa was a piano player.
He was.
Did you get to hear him play?
I heard him play all the time when I was young. He was very accomplished, a very good player. He played just classical music. I never heard him play anything that was top 40 or pop or anything like that. It was always classical He was very good.
It's a lot of practice. Like, an insane amount of practice. That he doesn't realize how loud his practice is. Like, his piano's in the basement, and I can hear him on the second floor in my office loud. And sometimes the same songs get repeated over and over and over again. And then they get stuck in my head.
Tom played a little bit of music with me. He can play piano, self-taught. I mean, I gave him the basics, and he kind of took it from there, learning things off of the internet.
It's fascinating to me to watch Tom try and figure out a new song. I've never been able to just sit down and think of something like that, and Tom just does it. Songs flow out of his fingertips. It's pretty cool.
We played at one of the bars we were playing at, and Tom got up and we did a couple songs together. It was a lot of fun.
Of course, Tom's kind of a deep and thoughtful person too, but when he's talking, he kind of spews it all out at you and hits you like a lightning bolt, and you gotta reorient yourself. But the music is much more calm.
And folks with kind of high functioning autism tend to have a more narrow range of things, but I could see it. I mean, he definitely has a meticulous nature about the things that he is passionate about and pursues them to a a depth of understanding and mastery that most people don't have the patience for. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I see a lot more emotion in Tom's music than I do from him as a person. The depth of emotions is a lot more pronounced in the music. It's hard to put into words. Insert contemplative music here.
Excuse me.
You know, it's
Excuse me.
yeah, Tom doesn't express himself very much. But the music does.
Excuse me.
My name is Travis Sarah. I work for a family business downtown in Detroit, Michigan. I married my beautiful wife, and my oldest son has Asperger's, high-functioning autism. And I didn't know this till after I started talking to Tom about this.
I have autistic nephews. I've seen what serious autism looks like. I would say Tom definitely has some spectrum disorder stuff going on, some sensory issues.
Tom has been able to bounce ideas off of me and allowed me to be a better dad. He has an area of expertise that I don't have an inkling of, and you can't teach experience. It's a high-functioning form of autism. You wouldn't notice it if they didn't tell you that that's what they had. But the way that they think, the way Tom thinks, or the way my oldest son thinks, it's brilliant.
Put it in the front page. Cash money for pictures of Spider-Man.
It's just different from how I would think.
Tom is a commodity buyer. So Tom buys a good amount of our product, which is produce, buys a lot of it. Tom is in charge of all of the packaging that we buy.
I should not be trusted to supervise anything. I struggle with that concept. I am adult supervision.
So when you start getting into containers and packaging and film and bags, and you're down to 1,000th of a cent, those things may have a huge impact. When you're doing tens of millions of them in a year, those things have a big impact. And Tom's very, very good at finding that. Very good at finding that. Tom's been able to save the company a lot of money. I won't say how much, but he's been very good. And I've given him the assignment. If you can save us 1 penny on this container, that pays your salary, you know, and there's a bonus in it for you. And Tom's very good at going about that, finding ways to do that and make us more efficient. So
When I found out that my kids really liked Minecraft, Tom went out of his way to give a little shout out to them while he was doing his streaming. I even made it like PG level so I wouldn't have to worry about any profanity.
The past history of physical, mental abuse being removed, there's a constant desire when your reality sucks that all geeks and all nerds really kind of die for, is a way to go to a place where they have some more control. You know? It's like that old movie Jumanji, you know? A game for people who want to leave their world behind. That's what we do. It's where we live. Is we go to places that are fantastical, or they have a terrible existence, and you are the hero striving to conquer that which is old and evil.
If you ever feel like you have a lack of control in the world and you wish that you had somewhere where you could just have everything be exactly how you wanted it be, down to the most specific detail, that is what Minecraft is.
I would see the pixel art community and essentially Tom's place in it with his Minecraft builds. That's a different avenue than most would pursue.
I don't have a lot of artistic talent. I can't draw or paint. I can't really do any of those things. But when I'm in Minecraft, now we've got gold, all the gold in the world. Once you're doing Minecraft, you can have as much gold as you want. But the real treasure is the time that we spend together. I can build these beautiful images, and it makes me feel like I can express some of my creativity that I can't do anywhere else. For everybody who wants pictures of Spider-Man, I got you a picture of Spider-Man. It's hard to believe this is only like 7,000 blocks.
He's reproducing images using pixels, essentially, using these blocks.
I don't understand how it's done. I'm a graphic designer and an animator. Let me start by saying that I'm not a Luddite to this, okay? When a client asks me, can you zoom in on the pixel level and delete this part? You're so focused on the pixels. You'll change things that look great in that little tiny window. And then you'll back away and it looks like a goddamn light and color abortion. It's completely fucking useless.
I mean, I don't even know how you plan something like this out. And I don't even know, like, even if you taught me how to do it, I don't even know where I would start. Like, this is really cool. This is amazing. I mean, this is absolutely amazing that you could do this. I mean, it's artistic. But how do you do that? It really does blow my mind.
Tom's pixel art is much more detailed and methodical than others. He has a grid system. He's very scientific about it. Does all of his calculations.
I look at that and I think that it's unbelievably impressive. And as a professional in digital art, I couldn't do that. Not without an understanding of systems and spatial relations and math, where that would take me a very, very long time to recreate on a much smaller scale, pixel by pixel. I'm staring at that, and I know that it's not just a snapshot of a piece of video or something. These are individual blocks laid down in a video game. The matter in which it was created, on top of the technical devotion to get it right. I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Like, it's its own thing, but it's not impossible. With enough practice, I think anyone could do it. The magic trick here is how much practice I've put in. You don't see pixel artists like this because people don't want to put this much time into learning how to do it like this. It's time-consuming.
Skill level is directly related to his dedication. It's the same, I guess, beauty that can be derived from seeing an accomplished mathematician solve a seemingly impossible equation in front of you. You know that there are steps to get there, but very few people are willing to dedicate themselves so thoroughly and entirely to the process to achieve that. It's a art born of something that anyone could do, but not something that anyone would do.
Creativity of process. It's a rare creativity. You know, it's I'm going to do a thing, but I'm going to come up with a way of doing it that not a lot of other people have ever really thought of before. That's actually going to make the process of doing this thing interesting and fun, let alone the result of it. I always thought that was a skill that I wish I had more of, that he just always seemed to have at the forefront of any endeavor that he went for.
Tom's mind is probably very similar to Minecraft. He's probably the one always in there picking up moving things. Tom has probably the most well-controlled scattered mind I may have ever seen. I wouldn't say he's scatterbrained, but I think in any given time, Tom probably is thinking about a number of different things and trying to compartmentalize them in the correct order.
Tom has some very... I don't know, throw me some out. I don't know what to say, though.
It's just it's
What I can say is when he puts himself to a project, he puts in a lot of time and a lot of effort into whatever he does attempt to do. However crazy I might think it is, he works at it till it's done.
Like, of all the people I know, he probably has one of the best work ethics I've ever seen.
Well, a number of years ago, Tom decided he was going to be a basil farmer. So he converted his whole basement into a basil farm. It was a quite involved project. He had probably several hundred plants going down there. He had pallets set up with little tubes so he could water all the plants. He had them on timers, and had the DEA been flying over with their sensor things that they use, they probably would have thought he had a marijuana grow farm going in his house or something, because I'm sure it would have really lit it up. But that project lasted, I don't know, for maybe half a year or so, and he did grow some really good basil.
No matter what's in front of him, he'll just do it.
So I just passed 1 million blocks, and it took me about 7 months. I work on this project after work.
I wanted to put together an OSHA binder, a workplace safety binder. We had one. It was outdated. It needed to be updated. It had to be done right, and at the same time, it needed to be done seriously, and I had to put it on someone's plate who I knew would do it. I gave it to Tom. It was not a present. It was not a present, but I did give it to Tom and tell him that there's a bonus attached to doing it.
Excuse me. A lot of it is generating programs and policies and procedures, as well as forms that document that those procedures are being followed.
It's a perfect job for Tom, and I would assign Tom to it if you need to be meticulous. That same thing that Tom has in his brain, where he's laying thousands and millions of mosaic pieces to know that this black one was supposed to be dark gray and not black. And when you back out from the damn thing, you can't tell the difference anyways, but Tom knows. Tom knows that it's wrong.
Yeah, when you use wool and quartz for 2 different shades of white, from a distance that actually adds quite a bit in terms of texture. Or at least to me, I can see the difference.
The things that I need to know 100% that it's right, Tom is very, very good at that. Like I said,
Tom put together this extensive OSHA binder with all kinds of safety programs that were quite comprehensive, considering he's never led a safety department or been a formal safety manager in any sense. A lot of work that goes into researching that.
Tom went online. Tom got certified, OSHA certified online by 2 or 3 different courses, 2 or 3 different companies. Tom spent literally a month just researching everything. What does this mean when they say you have to have this? Tom went through the entire thing. Tom went through the plant, not only learned it, but he explained it. OSHA's changed their law and their best practices for this, and we're still doing it the old way. Tom took it serious, and he did really well with it. He did really well. He exceeded my expectations. He got us a nice book together, and it's something that's also very teachable. If I can understand it, then it's really well written.
And his level of detail on those documents was more than I have seen, and definitely an exhaustive understanding of how to make sure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and that everything that is in the regulation is included in the program. He definitely has that.
Yeah, I mean, when I give him a challenge and want it to be done right, that's what you're going to get from Tom. On certain things, you're going to give him something that no one wants to do or nobody considers or nobody likes, but then Tom will find it in his own way. If it's his, he'll make it be a masterpiece. Just like our OSHA binder, just like so many other things that he's done here, and just find a way to make it be a masterpiece. He has an obsessive mind, an analytical mind, and he'll find a way to make it. If it's got his name on it, he wants it to look like that.
Some of the things Tom gets involved in are ridiculous projects that seem to never have an end, that take up huge chunks of his time, that sometimes cost strange amounts of money on very weird things. It's kind of turned our house into an amusement for some people.
The man devotes himself to goals that to most people make absolutely no sense. To geeks, they can sometimes make brilliant sense. Yeah.
Excuse me.
There were little things too, like random boxes of Legos showing up that eventually led to a giant pixel art being built on the floor that now hangs on the wall in the basement.
The great thing about the English language is that it is ever expansive, and we have words that cover every base several times over. And I think there's already a word that perfectly describes every Tom project, and that is boondoggle.
Boondoggle, a waste of money or time on unnecessary or questionable projects. That's pretty far out.
He uses little thumbtacks, colored thumbtacks, and he makes mosaics, just like the Minecraft type of thing. It's strange. People don't do that here. My kids come to work with me now, like I came when I was their age, and they look in, they love Tom. You know, it's somebody they can relate with.
Can I show this?
Yeah.
Can I show this? Look. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is incredible, right? I mean, you don't this. Look at this. So, you know, one day he just decides, you know, I'm going to create something. You know, I like Walter White. Let me go ahead and just build this. You know,
Jesse, we have to cook. My cancer's back. We have to cook now. Jesse. Jesse. Every time. Jesse. Jesse, we need you to stop clowning around. Jesse. Stop, that's enough. It's very one-dimensional.
Initially, when the candy display idea was brought to me, it seemed ridiculous, and I didn't understand why you would do that, but it worked out. It was definitely a hit.
But to his credit, once he commits to it, he will see that boondoggle through to its bitter end.
I've built a small little catapult one time.
Oh, the dice table. That was pretty good. He made a whole Thundercat logo, I believe, using dice.
He also, does little science experiments with things that he finds around the facility, or little modern art projects that he puts together with scraps of this and that.
Tom is his number one key demographic.
I think that was the best way I've ever heard like a Tom project described. Because the Tom project, you're right, they're not for anybody else.
Mm-mm.
They're for me, and you get to see them when I'm done.
All right.
This is not for you. It's just around you. Why would you do that? Well, why don't you shut the fuck up?
You need to stop watching. You need to stop watching my project right now.
I think my favorite boondoggle is one I wasn't even there for, and that was when he tried to build the ice wall.
The ice wall.
It was one of the warmest winters we ever had.
And here's the thing about that. He had these little trays during the winter. He was going to freeze and then make little bricks of ice. And he was going to use these bricks to build a wall on this tiny little concrete patio outside of his apartment that he was living in at the time. And I'm sure he would have succeeded at it had it not been unseasonably warm repeatedly and the ice blocks would keep melting.
The elements just wouldn't play ball, and eventually you gotta kick rocks and take your ice wall home.
That was a terrible failure.
Tom is not perfect. He's not a perfect employee by any means. Tom has made mistakes. Tom made a couple almost serious mistakes. Tom overbought a lot. It was a condiment for something that we do here with produce related, and it was very, very expensive. And it did have a limited shelf life. A couple $100,000 worth of it in the cooler. We were having cash flow issues because of stuff like that. I started to get really upset. Tom overbought it. It's his fault. It's no one's fault. Tom overbought it. I was worried that we might lose a good part of it, just flat out loss, which the company at the time, that would have been devastating to the company. I took it out on another employee. You fix this with Tom, because if I do it right now, I don't know what I would do. Came to Tom. Tom boss pit. Tom owned up to it. Fixed it though. He fixed it. He made it his point to fix it. Kept contacting me. Here's another 10,000 of it gone. Here's another. We moved it out. We didn't get hurt, not one penny.
Now's my chance to get us back on track. Watch this. Oh, shit. So, what was so special about this project that you wanted to work so hard at it?
The world record for largest pixel art, that's a Tom project. I actually saw another streamer working on a perler bead project. The world's largest perler bead picture was a picture of Bob Ross, and it was some 400,000 perler beads, world's biggest one. And I was already building pixel art at the time. I was getting pretty good. I was doing projects that were 20,000 pieces big.
To be honest, when he first said that he wanted to do beat this world record, I kind of laughed at it. Well, see, I started as Dark Demon Slayer and changed to Dark Demon Modding. I was just going through the D&D channels on Twitch, just trying to find something interesting. That's all the introduction I'll probably do for now. He kept surprising me because I think 2 months later, I'm like, okay, it's time to give up. He didn't let that bother him. Instead, he worked harder and started streaming longer and doing more. 4 months later, I'm like, dude, it's time to give up, because that's when I would have given up.
There's so many people that do things in this world better than I do. This is one of those things I think I could compete at the highest levels.
I think 6 months later, I'm like, he is still working on this. I'm like, but is he going to stop? And he just kept going. Even during his streams, I'm going to do this. Almost reassuring himself. It's just inspiring to watch because he doesn't give up. He didn't give up.
And what astounds me even more is there are people who are interested in watching him do it. When I first saw it, I thought, it's kind of akin to needlepoint. And in a sense, Tom is doing that, except it's even more monotonous. And it makes me think that Tom doesn't know what to do with his leisure. And the people who watch him don't know what to do with their leisure. In other words, we, instead of being freed by leisure, we're burdened by it.
Like a Buddhist chant, almost. A way to bring an inner peace, to kind of deal with things through an action. Raking of a sand garden, raising of a bonsai, those types of activities.
This is relaxing to me to do these things. I would do this by myself if I wasn't streaming.
No sign of exhaustion. I think he hums along. I don't think it's tiring. I think in some way it's refreshing to him.
There is conflict. There's got to be conflict that people can relate to who haven't gone through that conflict, and they understand how this is a healing process. If Tom can connect with the people on that end, then he's going to be fine.
And I'm quite impressed he's stuck with this for so long.
Why would you watch something so slow-paced? You really must have leisure to burn if you want to go online and watch Tom do this thing.
Most world records are obnoxious. I don't even care about the ones that matter.
It's near the bottom. It's not at the bottom, clearly, because there are other world records just as silly. There are world records for how many walnuts a dude can crack with his head in a row. That's not going to help us when the atmosphere is on fire. So he's firmly between, I guess, curing cancer and the dude that breaks walnuts with his forehead.
In the grand scheme of the universe, it has no significance. I'm wasting my life putting imaginary blocks down in a pretend world. So to everyone else, this record is probably meaningless.
I mean, to be number one at something in the entire world, and it was something as popular as Minecraft, I think that says a lot.
Tom will do pretty much anything, I think, for his friends.
Tom's great towards all his friends. He's always willing to listen, give some advice if you want it. He's a genuine dude.
The way he treats others is the way he thinks someone named Tom Brisby should treat others.
Wait, what about the pixel art? We were talking about that.
When Tom gets an idea in his head, that's it. You can't do anything with it.
How did you get roped into this? I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Don't look at me. He roped me into this. He roped me into this. He roped me into this.
Looks like they rolled me into this.
Only one of those 2 strokes off his game.
I don't think Tom has ever turned me away from his place.
Because Aaron was a homeless bum most of the time.
I did not have a car.
I think Aaron is a tortured soul. who's gone through a lot in life. He's a fiercely loyal friend.
One of the more memorable things that I've seen Tom do that really amazed me.
You know, my car died, I needed wheels or whatever, and Tom at the time had his van and then his own personal car. He had his perfectly functional car. He said, "You can drive my car."
He was living in his apartment complex. He knew that some tenants were being
Then I drove that car for months. I don't know how long it was. It was a long time. I drive it to his place so he gave me. Then I drive his car away from his place where he lived. But things started to make a bit of a noise, a bang or whatever. And that repair job was scary. The strut had busted free and was banging on the hood and had created a bubble in the hood from its repeated impacts. Car drove fine, handled fine. But if you hit a bump, bang. Pushed it down and then put a crap ton of washers in there to keep it in place. The guy's, "I've never seen this before." It's just literally like this raised bump of metal.
Their landlord was pretty much racist. Tom didn't stand for it, and I guess he realized that there was nothing that he really can do. But on principle alone, he spoke his mind to the proprietor, and he moved out of the whole apartment complex.
And Tom paid the insurance on that car the whole time. The whole time. I think he even gave me gas money sometimes, so I could drive home from his place in his car.
That was a real testament to his character.
One day, it died. It just broke down. I don't know why. I'm driving the crap out of it, but it broke down, and I had it towed over to a place over by my apartment at the time. And I think I told you its location, but you never claimed it, and I never went back for it, and then it was just gone.
He's a very supportive man. Always on my side. Even if he doesn't understand why he's on my side.
For about 2 weeks, I was crashing out at his place, but I spent a number of nights sleeping on the couch.
Tom's also there when you need his help with something, and I think the reciprocity is what makes him more persuasive, is you don't feel like it's a one-way relationship.
Was it some sort of little tree or something in the corner of your apartment? And for whatever reason, during that time, with no provocation or reason otherwise, an actual legitimate sizable mushroom began to grow in this potted plant, this tree. And no one could explain it. Tom blamed it on me, and I'm like, "I'm just sleeping here. What are you talking about?" And then after I stopped staying there, it withered and died. It's like my form of terraforming, I guess.
There's no such thing as a history major at my school, right? My bread and butter is teaching these sort of freshman level general education courses. But these courses are very demanding. But it also means I'm teaching a course that many other people are teaching as well.
I've always been fascinated by philosophy because those guys ask all of the questions that are the really hard questions.
So I got in trouble with the administration. My dean called me into the office some years ago and said, "Look, you're giving A's and B's to 26% of your students. Everyone else is giving A's and B's to 87% of your students. You need to give up the program." And I said, "No, your problem is grade inflation," right? And so I refused to conform, and they tried to fire me. Now, I'm tenured. When you want to fire a tenured professor, you have to have sort of in-house court-martial.
It was a political witch hunt against the guy for being a tough grader. They wanted to take away his tenure and fire him because he would mark people wrong when they had the wrong answer. And he wouldn't compromise. If you got the wrong answer, he marked it wrong every time.
Tom was one of the students who came and appeared as a witness for me.
Presentation-wise, if we need our company to look and appear professional, Tom wouldn't be the person, because just his demeanor, his style, it doesn't magnify success.
I don't expect Tom to show up to a family function in a nice sweater and a pair of khakis. It's just not going to happen. It's not Tom.
He really should have been a lawyer, and I told him that a number of times. I think had he gone to law school, I think he could probably get just about anybody off of just about anything they committed.
If I went to the bank saying I needed a loan for millions of dollars, and Tom was the best guy to explain why we needed it and our payback plan and a business plan, he could do that. He could put the plan together perfectly, but just Tom showing up himself, I don't know that just prejudice might get the best of somebody.
Tom, I think he was my first student witness, and he spoke very calmly, very politely, explained the good things he got out of my class, And then he surprised us all.
I don't know. This Tom guy makes me a little nervous. So
he pulled out his diploma. He had brought his diploma. He said, if this is how this institution treats Dr. Voth, that here's what you give you a degree, and to our shock, he tore it up in front of me, the provost, and all the panelists.
How about that?
I won 9-0. The panel voted in my favor unanimously.
Who doesn't want Tom as their buddy?
We still talk on the phone every now and again, even though I've been graduated for a number of years.
It was a heroic thing to do, and it was a passionate thing to do. Normally, heroic and passionate are not terms that would apply to Tom. Normally, he's very level. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And this current project he's involved with seems so unlike that heroic moment back at my court-martial. When it was all over and I'd been exonerated, I arranged to get him a new diploma, which he has. When Tom tore up his diploma, in my defense, that was heroic. That was passionate, and what he's doing now is the opposite of heroic and passionate.
I feel like he could be doing different things with his life. He feels like it's not a waste of time, and I do. I feel like there's much better things he could be out there doing.
Is Tom wasting his life? I think Tom's wasting his leisure, and that's pretty much the same thing.
Everybody's going to die, and you can't get more time. So every moment that you spend being happy and every moment that you spend being sad or pissed off or off balance or anxious or depressed, that's a part of you. And that's a part of your story. And while you can't control what happens to you, you have a fair amount of control over how you respond to it.
Like any life that is carried out until the next bout of unconsciousness can't be a life wasted, because whatever a person truly wants to do with their life, whether it's stream Minecraft at 35 years old and endeavor to make a documentary and a world record, or if someone wants to end it, everything in between. Anything a person truly wants to do can't be a waste of life, because they're living it how they choose to.
Bill's saying, you wake up and you walk the dog every day and you walk it to the same place in the same way, and then the dog starts walking you.
If I'm going to die no matter what, then the only thing that really can give my life meaning while I have it is that I make sure I'm getting the maximum amount of enjoyment out of the time that I have.
I'm wasting my life. Everyone's wasting their life. If you feel pride in the things you're doing and you're enjoying what you're doing, you're making the most out of your time, I don't consider that a waste. And if other people do, well, fuck them.
He's smart. He has an intelligent mind. How he chooses to use it, though, is just, I'm not going to tell you he's going to always act that way, but he's smart.
Am I wasting my life? I would say no, because I'm having a great time doing what I'm doing. And if someone else thinks I'm wasting my life, then they're spending time out of their precious and irreplaceable minutes analyzing what I should be doing with my life instead of living theirs.
Right. The old "I know you are, but what am I" defense. Stick to the classics. Am I right?
Pretty soon after we moved into this house, Tom bought a giant chair to stream in, a gaming chair that my mother compares to a surgical chair.
What am I going to spend time doing? Fuck it. Buying a badass gaming chair and making the world's biggest Minecraft pixel art. Fuck, I wish I could do something with that.
Alright, I love my chair. Go up. It's like a robot. Happy birthday, Polly.
I want it. Okay, so yeah, it's the Imperator Works chair. It's pretty cool. It's got neon lights in it. It can hold up to like 3 or 4 monitors. It leans back. It tilts. All this cool stuff. It's awesome.
But then he has 2 monitors on the side of the chair that aren't attached, because apparently 5 monitors is the number you need to live your life right. It moves up and down like a dentist chair.
I haven't sat in it, but I think it's awesome. Very, very cool. Actually, my son turns 12 next weekend, and he's like, I want the gaming chair for my birthday that Tom got, and I thought, no fucking way. So then I don't even know if it would fit, like where he has his Xbox console. So
I've always wondered why Tom chose the pictures he chose. What was the genesis of putting them together? That was always the thing that kind of got me, because I'm a big fan of composition. It's one of the things that I do professionally, and I always wonder why an artist picks the pictures they pick.
It's a collage of various book covers from one of his favorite authors and recreating them with these Minecraft blocks.
It's amazing. Who's the author?
It's the Terry Goodkind's Sword of Truth series. As an author, he has my respect. And as a writer, he has been a big influence on my work in terms of his prose and language.
Also, to know the scale of his pixel art. What he did is nothing short of remarkable, phenomenal. The pieces that he chose weren't easy pieces. To crank out anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 blocks a day for almost 2 years. It takes stick-to-itiveness, it takes dedication.
I decided to do a series of different images combined together as one image because I just felt like while I could have done one picture, I wouldn't have been able to tell the story that I wanted to tell. That, and I felt that the project would be just a little bit boring if it was just one giant picture. I could do so much more, and it's more difficult to do a series of smaller and more highly detailed pictures working together to make sure that they're laid out correctly, that they look good when they're together. It was more challenging, and I wanted whoever took a look at this project to say, that's legitimate.
It's really fucking weird. If it were just him by himself, no, because who the fuck cares? But that he wants to stream it to the world.
I think the stream that was born out of it was probably the best part of it.
I never even knew this was a thing. No, really. People really watch this? That's wild.
Like, I want to go on Twitch and see another human being doing something where I can kind of be a part of something and be part of a chat community, but I don't have to speak up. Like, if I'm looking for that, it's reasonable for me to assume that other people are looking for that too.
One of the reasons I started streaming was a Twitch streamer named
Hey man, I'm Chris with Phone Cat.
And he was this goofy, short, blonde-haired guy from Texas. And he plays Clash Royale, and he would talk really high like this when he got excited.
Oh my god, I could just tell, bro. What?
And I just saw how much fun he was having and how much fun the chat was having watching him.
It doesn't matter what I think in regards to that because it's the weirdest fucking thing.
There was a lot of streamers that I would watch. Like some of the great streamers. Like I was watching Phone Cats and McGrubby and Monster D-Face. And I just remember thinking to myself, well, I could do that. And then I started streaming.
Like if your favorite streamer becomes big and you were a part of that, you were a part of that. And it's the ultimate in parasitic symbiotic relationships.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I know that means you didn't have anything better to do with your life at this moment. I appreciate being a part of that.
I'm suspicious of it.
There's some Minecraft people, though. They got huge audiences.
Why would you watch something so slow-paced, right?
I watch Mumbo, and I watch all his videos. I'm like a zombie. Like, whatever he picks and to put up, I click on and watch because I like his content.
So Tom burps unapologetically. There's no excuse me.
Excuse me.
There's no anything, but hey.
There's a few things you need as a grown-up to succeed, and one of them, at least if you ask me, is some kind of important relationship. You need like one person in your life who just really gets you. I feel like a certain responsibility to give the people that are looking for that human connection like more of my voice. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Wait, I have something for this. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? I am 34. ancient on the internet. Practically a dinosaur. They should roll me off a cliff. Speaking of which, you remember the episode of Dinosaurs where they took all the old people and rolled them off a cliff? What did they call that? Hurling Day. You remember Hurling Day? You get the special hurling gloves, and he was going to throw Grandma off the cliff.
When you start, you're not going to be able to tell that you're even accomplishing anything. And there's going to be days where you tell yourself, I don't want to do it. I don't want to sit down in that chair for 2 hours and put down 5,000 blocks until my eyes start to hurt.
It's definitely a craft, recreating these things, because there's a lot of legwork going into it. There's a lot of forethought going into it.
I found a lot of people who were doing their own creations and saying, if you put this block here, you'll get this pixel art. But I wasn't finding a lot of information on, here's the techniques, here's the programs that you use. So I kind of had to make that stuff up and learn it on my own. And so something I would like to do when I finish this project is create a series of how-to videos that can get people the tools that they need to create larger pixel art.
I don't know how I still married this man. He always talked about placing blocks. Why did I marry him? He's just so damn charming. That's the only thing I can think is that he's just too cute.
There's technique trying to find a faster way to do my patterns, a faster way to put the blocks down. Anything that I can do to shave even 0.5% spread out over the life of a project like this could be the result of weeks or even months of time saved.
The block talk never ended. He was obsessively talking about the way he placed blocks and certain techniques that he was going to try.
This is not like other things that I've built. The complexity on this is way, way different. Like, this is hard to do fast. The pattern is so fragmented. Like, I have no idea what I'm making right now. So that's one row. So how many of those can I even do?
I do not have a life outside of work and streaming, working on this record right now.
He's just passionate and tells everybody all of the details, and like, dude, chill out. They don't need to know all that. But it's important to me. Okay, it's important to you.
I make my own patterns so that I can get the blocks where I want them. So learning how to read the pattern and translate it to a pixel art, that's the trick. A lot of engineering goes into getting that to work.
He starts telling me about this world record. And again, now I'm totally lost.
Tom is very enthusiastic when he talks about his projects. I have to remind him that not everybody cares.
I'm thinking it's just a video game. Like, I pictured him being Billy Mitchell from King of Kong is kind of where we're going. And this is all in the first interview.
Jesse, you need to do more than an hour a day. My cancer's back. We have to cook, Jesse. Jesse. Every fucking time I do this, I can't stop laughing. Jesse. Jesse. Cat.
Tom is very much one of a kind. He's a one-off, broke the mold. Brilliant mind, very ambitious. I think more ambitious than a lot of the students that I'd had at the time.
Tom's colorblind. I didn't know Tom was colorblind.
I didn't know either. Is that true?
I am colorblind, so that makes my pixel art challenging.
There were times when he was doing the project that he would have to work really hard to figure out what colors were. And a lot of times it wasn't necessarily the color that helped him, but it was the texture of the blocks in the game.
Sometimes the colors, they blend together. I have to slow to a crawl to be able to sort that out, and it's very frustrating. It's just you have this physical obstacle in your way that you have no control over. All you can really do is just kind of play the hand that you're dealt.
You went through and did like a couple 100,000 of these blocks trying to figure out where your greens and reds are? Yeah.
Tom wanted to join the military.
There's no downside to this. I'll get to go to basic training. I'll get to learn how to fight, learn how to shoot guns, learn how to defend myself. And I'll learn like a useful profession. And so I had recruiters calling me all the time, being like, hey, let's get you in on this. I signed all their papers. They said, okay, we just got to get you to pass a physical, and then you can pick what job you want to do. And then they go do a color test. I failed the color test. And then they did another color test, and I failed that too. The list of jobs when I started was 297 jobs long. After I was colorblind, that list was reduced to 3. The jobs were the most low-paying jobs that they had to offer. And I could have gotten a job at McDonald's and earned more money.
I bought him the colorblind glasses that they sell. And we went for a little walk in the neighborhood, and the sun was setting, and he yelled at me because apparently I should have told him that the sun made the sky change colors. The horizon had varying shades of pinks and reds. How dare I not tell him that?
It's a lot of struggling. I think it's kind of like how dyslexic people can learn how to read, but it's twice as hard. And some of it is me looking at my pattern and saying, this color is this block.
I do a lot of this by working hard at not being colorblind.
By being handy-capable.
It doesn't always work out.
The following was inspired by a true story.
Never accept a strawberry Laffy Taffy when he has a bag full of strawberry and chocolate Laffy Taffy.
He thought Tom was giving him strawberry. Tom thought he was giving him strawberry. But it wasn't strawberry at all. It was something much worse.
I still want to be the world record holder, so I don't have a choice but to push through it. You kind of can try to learn to adapt a little bit, but a lot of it is just accepting that you're going to be frustrated and doing it anyways.
So not only am I working on the world record for the biggest pixel art, but today I am doing so in the form of a 24-hour stream. My first and probably only ever 24-hour stream. How much Minecraft can I do? There's a mistake. Oh, I have to find a mistake now. This always happens early on, because this is already fine. That's good. What did I do? Yes, fat one. Thank you, fat one. Yes, you have the toy. Nobody's arguing with you. What do you want? Yes, fat one. Oh my god. Thank you, fat one. Oh, I thought you were done. You're not done? No? Meow.
Little did Tom know he was about to foreshadow something that 12 months later would almost destroy all of his hard work and preparation.
Alright, I was going to try and hold it till the end of the row, but I have to take another bathroom break. The first bathroom break was because I had caffeine, if you catch my drift. The second bathroom break is because I've had too much to drink. So enjoy what I built, and I'll be right back.
Well, don't expect me to explain it now. It doesn't happen for another 12 months. So how about that 24-hour stream? How's that coming along?
Dubin, what are you doing? Dubin. Oh, she always does this. She wants to lay on my lap. Stop that. We did this before. We did this whole dance before. You can lay here, okay? Dubin. She is severely interrupting my Minecrafting. Okay, we're good. Cat, we're good. Okay, yep, just like that. She's just this little adorable. Come on, cat. There's a reason I move you. You can't lay on my keyboard, huh? There you go. Do I need food delivery? I wouldn't turn down food delivery. I mean, I've got my pile of ravioli over here, but a man cannot live on ravioli alone. Crap, my wrist is starting to hurt, which is not good. 8 hours left. Oh my god. It's so long.
You're the one who signed up for this.
This will probably be my only 24-hour stream. Like, this isn't about you guys. This is about me. But, yeah, I'm at that point right now where I'm just kind of just suffering.
He was struggling at like the 19-hour mark. I mean, it's just a lot of sitting in one place and a lot of monotonous work with all of the little tiny blocks over and over and over again.
I've done so many blocks today. So many blocks. Help me.
Little did Tom know that as the night from his 24-hour stream wore on, he was slowly descending into space madness.
If you want your documentary to be better,
yeah,
you really need to play up how much you're suffering right now.
It's so bad.
Like low-key, not serious illness, but people don't readily know like the clinical name for.
Oh, my bonitis.
Bonitis. He never got it cured. He was too busy being an 80s guy to get his bonitis cured.
My only regret
is that I have bonitis.
Bonitis.
So I had eaten like a big old meal of Ethiopian food.
Jesus. Like, I don't see you and Ethiopian food mixing. Like, I'm not saying the Ethiopian food is bad.
Right.
I just don't see that being one of your culinary choices. What do you usually get?
I got red lentils and spicy beef. I just ate all the red lentils with the bread, that fancy bread they give you. I was trying to remember.
Not important at the moment.
But anyways, all those lentils. Like the next day, 10 hours later, I pooped out whole undigested lentils. Like a lot of them. Like I looked in the toilet bowl and I laughed. I was like, that's just silly. What's the point of eating it? Like with enough soap and water, clean those lentils and serve them up again. Like their nutritional value was unchanged. I pull the old reappearing lentils. And my intestines all of a sudden David Copperfield.
Oh, razzle dazzle.
Hey, look over here.
And as Tom descended into space madness, he was pulling Kyle along with him.
Oh, you wrote me into this.
I need icy to dull the pain. Relax it away. Shaq, I need you to sell out next to me.
Like, my impression of Shaq is spot on, not only because of the voice, but because of the accuracy of his will and intent. Shaq can't wait to sell out. Like, he sold out to Arizona Ice-T, he sold out to the General. Like, he can't wait for his next opportunity to sell out.
It's like playing almost like laughable basketball with a fake animation.
Happy to do it. But Shaq, like, I can't fathom it. Like, it's not even, like, his General commercials aren't even funny.
Like, I just want Shaq to make more movies.
But at least they won't be commercials where he's just selling himself piece by piece until there's no Shaq left.
Shaq.
And again, I don't understand why.
They will say this one is the largest.
They necessarily say it's the best.
It's going to be the best.
You want it to be the best.
Best in terms of size.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's like scale speeds.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, when you were a little kid, they were talking about those little cars reaching scale speeds of...
We had to go 4 times faster than was previously considered possible. The incredible new Rocket 500 races at scale speeds actually exceeding 1,200 miles per hour.
I want you to know that you were being deceived. There is no such thing as a scale speed of 200 miles an hour. It's barely legal that they
The
were...
speed you are going is the speed you are going. Not even relativistic. Scale speeds. The most disingenuous / brilliant thing any ad exec ever came up with.
Boys don't want to be losers. Boys want to be winners. And they can be winners only with the new Rocket 500.
Like, I want to meet that man and punch him in the face and shake his hand at the same time.
From Topper.
Scale speeds at 200 miles an hour.
It's rolling down a hill gently. Yeah, but once you factor in scale speeds, it is really...
But nothing's worse than a fucking hot poop. Especially when it's a large hot poop. Like, you just know there's going to be a whole lot of matter coming out. And it's all going to be 3,000 degrees. Like, you just settle in because you know there's no respite for your asshole coming. Your asshole is going to be on fire now, and when you get off the toilet for a few hours after.
No amount of wipes.
Nothing. Doesn't matter if you have fucking baby wipes. Nothing.
Aloe?
No aloe vera. That's just going to make it angry. But man, I like hot stuff, though.
What always gets me is the troublemaker. You sit down, you just gotta pinch one off, right? Like,
sometimes you have to, like, retreat and rally. Sometimes you can spend an additional 20 minutes on the toilet trying to get it out. Or you can spend that time more productively and just wait for the next re-up and get it all then.
see, but there's like little tricks you can do to try and get it out faster. There's a brief window of opportunity
where between the end of the first one and the start of the second one that won't come out. Like if you keep the nos on right there, sometimes you can trick the second one into coming out part way.
That's how you get blown out, Tom.
But sometimes, in the depths of madness, a brilliant idea is born.
Okay, we are less than 2 hours away from the completion of my first and probably only 24-hour stream. And this is Ira Flato on NPR. We'd like to thank you for joining our conversation today.
This is Sleepy Time Radio.
Sleepy Time Radio. During Tom's 24-hour stream, towards the end, he was starting to lose it.
We just want you to know there will be no loud noise.
No abrupt changes in tone.
Or even
Only the softest melodies and the dulcet tones of your two hosts.
we will keep all changes in topic and plot twists to a minimum.
And it was very NPR and laid back, and here we are in the dark.
Now, if you'd like to become a Fall Pledge member, if you'd like to go back to relaxing,
Were you almost there?
we need 7
Did you
people.
feel the sweet embrace of unconsciousness
We need
slipping right over you like a warm blanket?
We need 7 new
Well,
members.
you can feel that again.
Once we get 7 new members, we'll get back to our programming.
I would just like to let our listeners know that the desperation expressed by our parent company does not reflect our views here on Sleepy Time Radio.
However, having said that, we did fail to meet our goal, so we will be banging pots and pans for the next 3 minutes.
But only the smallest pots and the tiniest pans that we can find. And we will deal them with fine hair brushes. So even though we will be creating what is colloquially known as a racket, it should still provide some sense of calm. Fucking Sleepy Time Radio, I love it. I don't know, I feel like we gotta do Sleepy Time Radio for real.
It'll take you back to a simpler time where life made sense and kids worked hard.
Here at Sleepy Time Radio, we actively encourage everyone who works here to, in fact, get high on their own supply. And what that supply is hours of deep REM sleep.
This is what I got, guys. I did it.
He's literally running out the clock.
I am. I got nothing left. Like, I physically cannot render both images at the same time. If I go far enough to reveal the other one, it despawns part of the one I did. So I did almost 40,000 blocks today in this 24-hour stream. Even though it was a complex pattern, that's almost a 2,000 block per hour average.
I think I realized he would finish the project when he actually finished the 24-hour stream. I didn't think he was going to make it, but he did. When he plowed through that and we got through it all, I realized that he was probably going to keep going until he was finished.
So, with the 24-hour stream finished and emotions running high, that was when things took an unexpected turn for the worse.
I got a phone call from Dad, after Grandpa had been in the hospital for a few days,
And actually, he called about Grandma because she was the one who was diagnosed with cancer first, and a serious type of melanoma and Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's cancer, 2 different kind of cancers. And then we come to find out just a month after that, that Grandpa's got cancer and it's far advanced.
Well, your grandpa's really sick, and he's got a really aggressive cancer. It's in his bones, and
They were a hardworking type of people, and they kept to themselves a lot, and just good Americans, I guess, in that sense, He was quiet in a lot of ways, very intelligent. Took a while for him to open up to people, but he had a good sense of humor. It was a dry sense of humor, but once you got to know him, he could joke with the best of people and have some pretty good one-liners there, things like that.
Tom's grandma was a very sweet lady. She thought that I was just wonderful, and she wasn't afraid to tell me. One of the first people that told and showed the ring to when we got engaged was Tom's grandma.
Did a lot of stuff through her church, a lot of knitting, and she would donate to the church and they would give them away to, mothers and expectant mothers with babies, and then senior citizens, giving them blankets and things like that, yeah.
Comfort items for people and blankets to the hospice, different kind of stuffed animals.
Oh, the 3 Toms here, all 3 of us here. 3 generations of Tom Brisby's. Dad had a resemblance to Jim Leland, the Tiger manager, and we used to kid him around about that and get him to do pictures with Tiger gear on and stuff like that. And once we were at a funeral and I was with my dad, and he had his Tiger pull-up on and had the little Detroit D there, and then he had a suit coat on over it, and somebody actually approached him and thought he was Jim Leland and asked him if he was going to be able to get to the game that evening in time, and he told me there'd be no problem with that. He was going to be there. So always wanted to take him to a game, get a Tiger jersey on him, but that never did happen.
There was not one Christmas with only one of them. The last one that we did have together was so happy. Everybody's mind was on the right thing.
I think Grandpa put on a good face that day, and he sucked it up because he was probably in a lot of pain. Whatever we did for the whole time, everybody was there, and it was very cheerful, and it was a good memory to have that, we're both together, and we had a nice day, a good meal and good family time and good fun, playing games and nice picture. We got it all. I think back to that for a long time.
He boosted the Christmas presents that year. Everybody looks at their Christmas checks in absolute disbelief.
Right before the blessing, he said, the only important thing is that I'm here with my family right now, and I'm here this year, but if I'm not next year, that's okay too.
My aunt, she just starts crying. She goes, I'd rather have you than the money. And my grandpa just looks at her and he says, well, this might be the last Christmas I'm here.
He was so stubborn. He was very stubborn and bullheaded, and he wasn't happy about his situation either, and he made that known because it had to be very, very painful. He was grumpy. He knew he was getting ready to go. There was only one and only time when he told me that he loved me, and that was right before he passed.
One of the last things he said to me, he wished he was a better grandfather, but to me that wasn't a sad statement. That was a testament to his character. He was thinking about what he gave others and what he showed others.
He actually ended up passing away, 6 months before Grandma. Once, that hit, it was just a double shot there, one after the other.
I feel blessed for the way that my grandma and grandpa, died. My grandpa, he had just eaten dinner. He sat down in his chair and he went to sleep, and that was it. It was so peaceful for him. He was a stubborn guy. That was his own way of caring about people. He might come off as a little rough, but if you were listening, really listening to what he was saying, he was telling you that he loved you.
It was really difficult watching her just deteriorate right in front of your eyes. Every time I went to see her, she was just a little worse and a little worse and a little worse.
What she wasn't going to get better from. She was in hospice. She knew that.
Grandma was always really positive. There was one time Sean and I had gone over there for a visit, and her face was very swollen. She didn't look like herself at all. She was pretty unrecognizable. She looks at Sean and she says, I could be in one of those horror movies with the way my face looks right now.
My aunt is taking care of her, living at the house, and Grandma wakes up from having slept for a bunch of hours. She looks at my aunt, goes, I'm not dead yet? And then Aunt goes, no, Mom, you're not dead yet. And then Grandma goes, well, I guess I'll have some ice cream then. She loved ice cream.
And Dad calls me, and he's like, you gotta get over there right now.
Pretty much the last thing she said before she went to sleep was, I wish I could do it all over again so I could spend more time with all of you. She loved being with us so much that was the only thing that she wanted more of. You just wish you had more time with them because you love them that much.
This is the last time I talked to her was that night, and she knew that she was ready, and she got to be able to say her piece to every single one of her grandkids.
Cancer has Cancer's taken a lot of people from me. Cancer has taken my grandfather on my mom's side, and my grandmother on my mom's side, and my aunt, my mom's sister, and my grandmother on my dad's side.
It's been a year already. It just goes by really, really quickly, and to have that much of a change in 1 year, to lose both of them, it's difficult. I mean, I think about them both every day.
This year was actually the first year that I lost people that were even kind of close to me.
I think it became more obvious to me that Tom was really broken. Deep down, emotionally, the way that he reacted to their deaths. It was the way that someone who was beaten for showing their feelings probably would react.
Everybody grieves in different ways. If you're lucky, you'll have closure before they're gone.
Tom doesn't react to emotional things like other people. I don't think Tom cried.
Yeah, someone moves on, you just gotta... I like to reflect on their life and think of the things that were important to them. Think of what's the right way to say goodbye. Because it's different for everybody.
Because I knew that Tom was sad. He just wasn't expressing it the way that I was used to expressing things like this, you know.
Emotions and concepts of the self, and sort of moving forward and existing in a place where you don't have those same emotions, but yet the ability to relate is still something that you are attempting to do and want to do.
Tom's grandparents passed away, and he decided he was going to make a mural for him in his game. I can see that that's special.
It did touch my heart to see how much Tom loved both of them enough to devote his time to make a memorial.
Alright, I took a picture from their 60th wedding anniversary. So I had to figure out what dimensions I wanted to do and edit the picture and all that. But then I turned it into a pattern.
Your training leading up to those pictures, I mean, enabled you to do them, pretty quickly, because it didn't take you long to get those put together and out there, and the quality was great. And it's a nice tribute. It's something that'll be around, something that I guess as long as the internet's up and running, they can be out there. So that's pretty cool. It's very cool.
These size projects aren't unheard of, 30,000, 40,000 blocks. I wanted it to be slightly less than the one I built for my grandpa, because they weren't the same size. That's roughly 2,500 blocks an hour, so this will take me 10 hours. Maybe a little bit less, not much less.
He did little tributes to them in Minecraft. He made little pixel arts of their pictures and made a little memorial for them. It was very sweet.
Started this yesterday. I'm trying to finish it today before the viewing. People put pictures up. I could put that picture up. So, Grandma doesn't look like much yet.
It looks just like her neck.
Grandpa looks better when you zoom out.
Here's Grandma's smile.
This guy was in my way when I started.
The chicken?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to get rid of him, but then I thought I was building something for my grandma, and she would never even step on a bug. So I can't bring myself to kill this chicken. It would go against the spirit of the project.
It really would.
It's too bad she couldn't be there for the housewarming.
She'll be there.
Yeah, I hope not. Can you imagine?
No, come on, Tom.
That's your eternal fate, is to follow people around on Earth?
No.
Come on. I mean, I hope we go somewhere better. Like, you can't even interact with stuff. And then people, want to bring in a priest to get rid of you.
It was the same day in history that Elvis died.
Died on the toilet.
Well, yeah. I'm sure your grandma's was much more dignified.
I don't know. If you're on the toilet and you avoid your bowels, that's the best case scenario. And then let me show you the church that I made. So that's a map with the pixel art on it. There's another one over here. And then I built this too.
Probably can't say enough about them. They were ideal good parents.
We saw a ton of movies. We went to the park. You know, we were always doing something with him. And it was really cool. Like, looking back as an adult, I didn't appreciate the gravity of the amount of resources he put into, like, making sure my sister and I had the best shot we could have. It was tremendous. And at a great cost to himself in terms of how much time and energy it was. None of that happens without my grandma and grandpa. They were the ones that put that in him, taught him the right way to be, and they taught him to give.
You want to be a good dad, you want to be a good father, you want to set them on a path that hopefully is going to be a good one for them. Not necessarily for you, not necessarily what you wanted, but what's good for them. That's important.
One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was my dad as a human being and not perfect.
You can always look back at something and say, oh man, maybe I should have done this or I shouldn't have done that. But you know what? At the time, we're doing what we think is the right thing to do, and that's all we can do.
Parents are just people who are trying their best, and they're going to fuck up, and they're going to have their own doubts. And I would say one of the biggest doubts that they'll have is whether or not they did it right.
I think I did what I could. Maybe I could have been better in some areas. I don't really know. Hindsight's 20/20. We can't change where we've been.
And if you want to give your parents a gift, take that doubt away from them. Tell them the good things that they did. They'll appreciate it. Maybe that's cheesy advice. I don't have a lot of relationships with people. It's just not my way. I'm a very solitary kind of person, and I don't mind it. But the relationships I do have are very precious to me. I want to get my dad father and son 3D printed action figures. That would be so cool. It would make my day to give my dad a little Tom Sr. action figure. And then he could have his little Tom Jr. action figure. Think about the people in your life that matter to you. Think about how you treat them. Think about how they treat you. And just make sure that you're happy with that. Make sure that you're proud of the way that you treat them. Never forget the people that matter to you. Live your life with that telescope, looking at everything. If you don't, you're gonna have regrets. Like, love your people now when they're here, because the moment they're gone, you won't have them to love anymore. I mean, you can still love them, but you won't get that closure of knowing that they knew, that you loved them. What's with the cry face there? Did I touch you in your feelings? Sorry.
What? No, it's just really dusty in here.
So we have a lot in common and a lot that's different, but the one thing that everybody shares is while we're here, we have a finite and irreplaceable amount of time to live our lives from when we're born until when we're dead. And nothing I do is going to change that.
It's an important part of life. That's what we work for. We work for our free time to do what we want to do, because obviously none of us are rich enough to not have to work and get ourselves to that point. So, hey, when you get there, you got to enjoy it.
There are too many people out there who try to decide how other people are going to live their life, and that's not an okay thing for me. Like, you have no input when it comes to the choices I want for my life. My opinion is the only opinion that matters when it comes to how I want to spend my life.
Everyone's wasting their life. You die and you don't have anything because you're dead. You have a legacy and that's it. And then after a while, no one will remember that either. And then, eventually, the sun will go out and none of it will have mattered. So
you realize that you aren't shit and that your life ain't shit. And it's about processing that existential crisis that everyone comes to eventually and figuring out how to deal with that in the most productive way.
If you ask me, it's not that I think I'm not mature, it's that I think other people have wacky priorities given the amount of time that they have in their lives. Like, the limited amount of time that we have to exist. I think other people have weird priorities. I get my life. Really, I'm the only one who sees it. I'm the only one who experiences it from my point of view. And when I die, that's all I take with me.
Wow, it's like, this dude thinks really deep. He was playing Minecraft, and he was doing some pixel art, so he went really deep and metal on me. And I was like, wait, this is the same dude, right? So yeah, it's kind of odd. And then he goes right back to like telling jokes again. I'm just like, okay.
That is what Bat Hercules is all about. Pretty much the only thing that you can do to make sure you aren't wasting your life is to make sure that you're happy.
That's kind of a puzzle because it seems egotistical. It seems like a way of making his mark. And until this project, I never had a sense Tom needed to make his mark.
I wanted there to be one small speck of my existence where I could point to something and say, you know what? There's never been anybody who's done this better.
But he's got a good heart. You watch him and he goes out there and he gives it his all every time. Ooh, yeah, that's the kind of attitude that you need for success in this business. Yeah, baby. And that's the kind of success that when we go to the Palace of Auburn Hills for SummerSlam to meet Tholar Tholarian, that's the kind of attitude we're gonna need to take that belt. Ooh, yeah, you believe it.
I've encouraged him many times to keep going and not to quit on his dream there. I think he can do it.
Once Tom has his mind set on something, he goes for it and he doesn't stop until he achieves his goal.
The world needs more positive role models. And that's one of the things that I feel that Mr. Gumbercules does. We are the Justice League of Twitch. It's Bat Hercules and Mr. Gumbercules. And occasionally, Gumbercuman Randy Savage, but we don't like to talk about him.
So I've been really working on my speed here. Still, compared to when I started, I'm so much faster.
Now, I watched a lot of the world record being placed. A lot. Ridiculous amount that I paid attention to. Yes, he got very fast.
You have to do that. You have to question what you're doing and how. You have to do it all the time.
When I started at my fastest, I was only pulling 2,000 or 3,000 blocks an hour. And now that's me on a bad day in an incredibly difficult pattern where I might be struggling with colorblind issues.
The progression was very, very fast. Like, it seemed like when I was watching, you had rows done in a matter of a few minutes. And I was like, I don't even know how he's doing that right now.
I'm getting faster, and I work at getting faster all the time, but there's a limit. My absolute best, I've put down an average of 7,000 blocks an hour for some of the easier sections where it's just 1 or 2 colors. Some of the more complicated sections, it gets as slow as 2,000 blocks an hour.
He's not one of those people who likes to just sit back and do nothing. He's like a go-getter. So whatever he puts his mind toward, he usually accomplishes it.
When I have the mouse where it needs to go, I can put down the block or the 2 blocks that I'm putting down, and I'm already looking at the pattern for what's next. So I'm not looking at the blocks as they go down. I haven't been doing that for a long time. It's way faster. Easily 15% to 20% faster, which over the course of an 18-month project, that's huge.
All right, I'm shooting, guys, for an average speed for this row of 10,000 blocks an hour.
10,000 blocks per hour? That's an average of over 2.7 pieces being put down per second. Each in the right spot for an entire row. How is that even possible?
Tom likes challenges.
They talk about in basketball or in boxing or other high pressure sports where people can get in the zone. And that's a real thing, by the way. You're changing your brain waves to what's called the theta state. And it's this state of mind that human beings can train themselves to get into. Your reflexes and your body can interact with the stimuli that you have on almost what feels like a superhuman level. And I can touch that sometimes, where the blocks just seem to place themselves down and the cursor never stops moving. The blocks never stop going. I want to be able to turn that switch on and just be in that zone the whole time. It's really an amazing experience when you have it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this special event. Now, this is not the first time Tom has attempted to reach 10,000 blocks an hour. But like the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, his goal has always been slightly out of reach.
I can get it this time. I can get it. Come on.
The problem isn't speed, it's accuracy. Every mistake, every misplaced block, every wrong color needs to be corrected. Every time he's gotten close before, he would always trip at the finish line.
Just gotta stay focused here. Stay mellow. Don't get nervous.
Tom is a bit nervous because there aren't very many easy sections left in the project. He knows that, and this is one of those last chances to break the 10,000 block per hour barrier.
Because it does take a lot of skill and a lot of patience and a lot of concentration to be able to do something like that. Because if you put in the wrong color block in the wrong spot, you're like, oh, well, that throws everything off.
For as many blocks as he has to place in this section, Tom has to complete the entire row in under 7 minutes.
What he does is technically ridiculous.
Looks like we're coming down to the wire. It's going to be close. We have Tom, this scrappy, handsome, inspirational, well-mannered. Jeez, how many words are on this card? Let me skip ahead a little bit. Who less than a year ago started playing the game. He hasn't wasted any time giving the top dogs a run for their money. But tonight, it looks like he's really got it dialed in. He's currently on pace to break the 10,000 block per hour average that's been eluding him for so long. Oh, there's a mistake. And he really can't afford to make too many more of those. Look at the efficiency there. What he's doing is very technically precise. He's holding down the mouse button to place the blocks continuously instead of individually clicking to place each one. And to make that work, you need to be an expert with the movement the camera controls together so that the only spot a block can be placed is exactly where it's supposed to go.
The trick to going super fast is to get down real low and close. Because what happens is you're so close to the action that if you try to put a block in the wrong spot, it actually bumps into you and won't place. So it's a little harder to control, but it's actually, when you get the hang of it, a lot less of those.
Probably say he's one of, if not the fastest. I'm not going to say builders, but I'm going to say block placers. And he flies through it. With this, it's super fast. Even got cameras so you could see his hands while he's doing it. It's just, he's one of the fastest that I've seen.
Being able to adapt on the fly to the constantly changing paths that need to be filled in is a skill that can only come with hundreds of hours of dedicated practice. He's close to the end, though, and still on pace to break his own record. But he's still not out of the woods yet, because the very end of the pattern is a lot more technically challenging than the part he has been filling in so far.
Yeah, there's like a risk-reward system for how you put your blocks down. There's more difficult methods that are faster. But if you mess up, it's faster to do it the slow way.
He's getting close. It's going to be really close. He's desperately trying to make up time he doesn't have. He's fighting hard. It's right down to the end. There's a stumble. Is he going to be able to come back?
Agarra Rodríguez, este jugador sí que es rápido. Limpia uno, limpia dos, se va para el centro. Míralo, míralo que está en el área. Mira, tira el centro, tíralo, por favor. Tira el centro, cabecea, Zapata y ¡gol!
6 minutes, 57 seconds, 6.95 minutes. Yeah, baby, 10,117 blocks per hour average.
Well, Tom, you just broke 10,000 blocks an hour. How do you feel?
I feel good about that. I feel really good about that. Shit. My heart is pounding.
That would be a nice high point to end the film on, but Tom had an idea.
First, stop attacking my microphone, cat.
Tom had an idea that would make breaking 10,000 blocks an hour feel like a milk run.
I'm attempting two things. First thing is largest pixel art in the world. I'm trying to take away the record from the guy who has the longest Minecraft stream in one sitting. If I can punctuate the end of that with setting the record for biggest pixel art, that'd be cool.
Having gone mad on the power of breaking 10,000 blocks an hour, Tom decided that one world record was no longer enough. He decided that he also wanted to take the record for longest game of Minecraft in one sitting, held by Mark Wall Sawchuck, standing at 35 hours and 40 minutes, where the final block of the project will be placed at the end of the record-breaking marathon session.
The idea of the breaking 2 world records at once thing was insanity to me, and I was not on board with it at all. And he knows it.
I had no doubt that you were going to do it. I was probably 99% sure that you would get through this, because you usually get through whatever you say you're going to get through. So I didn't have any doubts about that. I know I couldn't. It'd be like me trying to play music for 36 hours straight, and there's no way I could do that. No way to stay focused that long.
This will probably be my only 24-hour stream. My first and probably only 24-hour stream. I can't imagine myself building pixel art for 24 hours. That would be ridiculous.
Usually when he gets these projects in his head, there's a point over where he'll go, I could do that, I should do that. But when he goes, I'm doing that, and he says it a certain way, it's going to happen.
I thought it was the most ridiculous idea ever because after the 24-hour stream, he was a mess. And why would he torture himself again with not just 24 hours, but 36 hours? That was just the dumbest idea I'd ever heard.
Tom will take that feedback and he'll say, hey, hold my beer and watch.
Like, if I listened every time somebody said I couldn't do something, then I would never get anything done. People spend more time figuring out why they can't do shit than the effort it would take to figure out how to do the thing.
If you tell him he can't do something, he's going to work extra hard to show you that it can be done.
Tom has this idea that he did all this stuff to get ready for the world record stream. I don't know if that actually helped or not, or if that was just one of his crazy ideas that he decided that this was going to be a great idea to help him get in shape. How do you get in shape to sit on your ass for 36 hours?
Leading up to this, I've done 10 weeks of cardio training and about 6 weeks of high altitude cardio.
He claimed that that was to get in shape, to sit on his ass for 36 hours and place imaginary blocks in an imaginary world.
Most of the time, when I say I'm going to do something, I know I can do it so much that it's already done and the only thing I have to do is do it. Like, it's a formality at that point. But this is not that. Yesterday, I was physically nervous about doing this. And that is not something that ever happens to me when I say I'm going to do something. This is not something you're guaranteed success because you're going to try. I feel like I've got the Three Stooges syndrome going on with my current setup. In fact, one of my webcams, it had like palsy for about 20 minutes. It was like flickering and being all distorted. And I was just kind of watching it. And I was like, well, it went away. It would have been useful if I would have been able to crank out an extra 10 or 20,000 just to give myself a little cushion. But I had a migraine leading up to the last push to get ready for this.
Tom gets very bad migraines. Tom gets migraines where the lights have to be out and dead silence has to occur and ice packs need to be applied to the head and neck. He sometimes is like that for a day at a time. It makes him just want to lie in a corner and cover his head, which he usually does.
For people who don't have them or have never gotten them, I've had kidney stones. I had a collapsed lung. I've had broken ankles, knees, torn ligaments all through my high school athletic career. A migraine is worse than all those things put together. It really is. A migraine, there's no relief.
I've tried Aleve, ibuprofen, aspirin, Advil, NyQuil, Benadryl, Flonase, Sudafed, some combinations of those things.
Everything bothers you. Light, sound, movement, everything.
Oh, it's totally like living with a different person. I have to dial myself back about 5 notches. I can't be my normal, loud, weird self.
It renders you incapable. It's hard to push through if you have one brewing. A dark room laying down is really the only cure. I take some medication for preventative, and I take it if it gets bad.
The migraines I get, I have a prescription that prevents them from onsetting 60% of the time. I have to take it when I know I'm getting it. I have to feel it coming on. And from what I hear, 60% is actually a very good response to that drug.
I was really, really bad for a while, almost to a point where I wasn't even coming to work for a while. Tom has it. Tom gets them too. I don't wish them on my worst enemy. So if Tom is experiencing one and he's trying to at least get things done for the company, it's very appreciative. People that don't get them don't understand. Not at all.
I don't know that I could attempt this record without this chair. One of the cool things about streaming for 36 hours is I'll be able to edit together enough highlights to make it look like I'm interesting. So yeah, I went on the Guinness website last night just to make sure I had a good understanding of the rules.
How much break can you take for like bathroom break and stuff?
You get 10 minutes for every hour that you can take a break. So if I go for 6 hours without taking a break, I can take an hour break. Yeah, I have not been using that much break time at all.
I don't have enough time to use that much break time. I'd rather just finish this. I took the week off of work to do this. So I need to average 4,500 blocks an hour for the entire 36 hours to meet my goal. Looking at all of these Minecraft guys kind of made me feel like if I ever wanted to get to where they are, I had to really do something amazing. And so this is kind of my way of introducing myself to them. But my biggest enemy is gonna be staying awake. Hey OG, what's up, dude?
Tom was less than 20 minutes into the world record marathon stream when he suddenly found himself in the middle of a battle of wills that could end his attempt before it even began.
I do feel a poo coming on. That's not good.
Except this time, Tom wasn't allowed to take his first bathroom break for another 40 minutes.
The 1 hour mark is very important right now. You get 1 10-minute break every hour. I don't need the 10-minute break, but I do need to use the bathroom. For the next 40 minutes, all I could think about was how hard I had to poop. Like, that was my life.
That's silly.
I went through the 5 stages of having to take a dump during a world record attempt. God, I wish I could fart. If I could just get one fart, that would make all this better.
Bargaining.
The optic of it was what kept me going more than anything else. Like, out of all the things that I planned for, that was going to be the thing. The one small thing you didn't think about or plan for, that's what'll get you. I am barely going to make it to 1 hour. And it's a photo finish already. 30 seconds. All right, break time. Break time. Official break time. All right, I'll be back. It's not going to take me 10 minutes. My God. So that was a 5-minute break. There was like some Lamaze, some deep breathing exercises. It was like reverse Lamaze though, because I was doing the breathing techniques where you try to push it.
Oh, you wrote me into this.
I just wasn't expecting that much drama this early. My cat tries to be a part of my stream a lot, but sometimes she does something that I like to call the dance of 1,000 biscuits. And that's where she just will rapid fire do that thing that cats do, where they're making biscuits. You know, there's a secret reason for why I'm about to do all these outfit changes. 36 hours is a tough commitment for one person, but it's not bad for 18 people. And all I have to do is pretend to be people who are doing something for 2 hours.
His character interactions are pretty good. I like to think mine are better.
All right. Who's it gonna be? Oh, that's the sweatshirt I'm wearing now. Mr. Gold. All right, Mr. Gold it is. International man of intrigue. If you're going to build a giant death laser and ransom mankind, do it in the Imperator Works IR/W72. The only gaming chair that is specifically tailored for every supervillain's needs. Has this ever happened to you? Moments away from taking over the world and you just get a cramp. Bad ergonomics has been the downfall of more than one villain. Don't let this happen to you. For just 40 consecutive payments of $100, you too can own the Imperator Works IRW gaming chair. Invest in yourself. Invest in the future of mankind under your thumb. Invest in the Imperator Works gaming chair. I'll be back shortly. Don't know how good my microphone is, or if one of my cameras even sees this, but during this break, I'm going to give myself a few seconds on this ladder here just to get the muscles moving. Maybe 20 or 30 seconds or so. Just for safety here. How's that new mic picking up those burps? So I've probably done over 30,000 blocks already today. It's pretty good. I'm going to take my blood pressure. 145/87. That's 20 points higher than usual.
Yeah, that's high for you.
It's not in the danger zone yet. Like, I've got a hard line at about 165, 170.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm hitting that sitting in a chair, it's time to stop. Normally, I do this for no more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. I'm paying very close attention to my how my hands feel today, because usually after a couple hours, I start to get a little bit crampy. I'm starting to get a little bit of tension in my wrist, though. Hang on. Yeah. That's why I keep this bad boy on hand. Ah, this one too. I'm ready for that too. It's too early to be struggling.
New Icy Hot Spray. Don't mess around with pain.
There we go. I've been averaging close to 5,000 blocks an hour for 10 hours straight, and I need to keep that pace up for the whole thing.
When Tom was online breaking the record, me and my kids were online with him, talking shit, but we were online with him. I mean, my kids thought it was awesome. So, yeah, if Tom and I didn't work together, we'd probably hang out a little bit. Tom is a good dude. He makes me laugh. He's very funny. I could probably take Tom outside of work in bits and pieces.
You don't have enough drama, though. You need more drama.
Like, he sat in that chair for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's not enough.
I did over
Like,
so
you
many
needed,
blocks.
you needed something outside of what you were doing to be happening concurrently.
Okay, Kyle, you're one of like 3 friends that I had. I'm gonna need you to get cancer for me.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's not gonna be me.
Your dying wish was that I finish this
Mm-mm.
Minecraft pixel art before you move on.
You got a better chance with Aaron.
It's gonna happen. Because, I mean...
Little did Tom know, the friend that he had been trying to contact all day was about to give him some awful news.
As many smokes as he wants for life. Like, just keep him in smokes and he'll get cancer for you. To spice up your documentary.
The thinking part of the pixel art has slowed down quite a bit. The mechanical part hasn't slowed down at all. I can still put down blocks as fast as I could when I started, but knowing where to put them has gotten a lot harder. Man, I don't even know what blocks I'm putting down anymore. This is all training in autopilot right now. We are gonna do a costume change. I'm going to become a character who isn't experiencing brain fatigue. I'm gonna pretend to be somebody else who isn't tired. All right, let's get back at this. Yeehaw! Get us some tall glass of beer, maybe take you out to some NASCAR, tell you what. Get me some Bud Light, watch me some highlights of that man. Named all of my kids after him. All of my kids have his name. I say Dale, and they know which one I'm talking about. Usually the one that done fucked up. I'll tell you what, them kids, they get in more trouble than I'm ready for. That's what they don't tell you about when you have them kids. They're gonna find ways to fuck themselves up. And it's your job to make sure they learn from it. Now look, a little butterfly stitches, a little bit of NyQuil, that'll fix you right up, son. It'll teach you to swing that shovel around like that. You hit your brother in the head so hard. Now he ain't gonna be stupid. You're gonna hit him so hard that he's gonna go through stupid and back around to smart. And fire up the old lawnmower, get myself a can of Bud in my hand. You can't. It is a statistical fact that you cannot mow the lawn without beer in your hand. You can cut the grass without beer in your hand, but you cannot mow the lawn. Now, I haven't said that. So he's sitting here writing this song, and I'm mowing the grass. And every time I cut the grass, and a little bit of grass flies up, blows away, he's just singing to himself, grass in the wind, got me some grass in the wind. He just, he was yelling at himself, like, man, that ain't right, that song ain't right. And then I hit that old dust patch, that old dust bowl in the center of my yard. Had to cover my beer, tell you what. Soon as that dirt flew up into the air, he was like, maybe dust in the wind. And I was like, say that again. He's like, I can't write with all this dust in the wind. And I was saying, no, say that one more time and sing it this time. And he's like, dust in the wind. Oh my God, you got it, Redneck Bill. I cannot believe that you gave me the secret to this #1 hit song. True story. I told him I do not need any of the royalties or accolades that go along with that. Just the pride of helping out my fellow man was enough. So dang old, be glad you don't have no bluegrass in the wind.
A billionaire isn't going to spend their next
This is not
$100
fair.
million.
Hang on. So my server and realm is going to be restarted in 5 minutes. I'm going to have to use one of my breaks.
That sucks.
Come on! How dare you? I'm just minding my own business here. Oh, motherfucker.
Building some pixel arts.
Well, at least I can finish this road. I'm mad as I've ever been. That's not true. 147 over 85. I've been monitoring it, I'm concerned. It's been high for like the last 5 hours. It's staying out of the red zone. Like if it starts spiking up to 160, 170, as much as it would kill me, I'd have to think about stopping. I feel like I need more tape on this. Tighten that up just a little. And I am struggling right now, making a couple mistakes. I need that break I got coming up after this row. It's the red and brown rows. Fucks with my color blindness. Finger hurts. This one. It's easy to forget that what I'm doing is dangerous. Very dangerous, guys. Local man dies of heart attack after foolishly pushing his middle-aged body past its limits. I have been feeling a little bit lightheaded, a little bit shaky, but part of me just says that's part of being awake for 25 hours. We have a blood sugar testing kit. I'll just test it. If it's super low, easy fix. I hate this because it always hurts when you stab yourself with these things. Let's just go for it. Ah, motherfucker. Awake for 27 hours and my blood sugar is 99, solid as a rock. I think I will need all of the time I have left to finish the pixel art. I started really strong. I would say 18 hours of very strong block placing. Now it's just a fight. It's a fight against fatigue. It's a fight against muscle pain. It's a fight against everything the human body doesn't want you to do after being awake for this long. And my back is sweaty. When you go upstairs to get ready for bed, send my deodorant down the laundry chute. I don't know that I could attempt this record without this chair. Whoa. My chair just had a malfunction. That looks like I can't start again. I just lost my back support. I can fix it though. Maybe I can't. Come on, chair. I got it halfway fixed. Nothing's ever easy, guys. Alright. That's as good as I can fix it. Should be enough to get through the rest of the stream. Oh, my chair. Chair betrayed me. Fuck, I didn't have the stamina for that.
At the halfway point, with over 80,000 blocks done since he started, there were still over 70,000 left to go, and Tom found himself slowing down.
I am not hungry right now, but I need to eat something. Should I go for the mixed nuts? I have a protein bar. Should I just drink some pop? I feel like if I eat a protein bar, it'll make me throw up. I think I'll just start with some pop and see how I feel. I'm still able to average 4 rows an hour, which is 3,200 blocks an hour. So that's under my normal speed. Recently, my middle finger on my mouse hand, which I never have problems with, which is troubling.
Carpal tunnel. Tendonitis.
There's almost no drama left. That's all right. We're going to edit these questions out.
Gotta drum up that artificial tension.
Oh no! Mouse down. Nope, I got it. All my stuff got minimized.
So, I was just concerned that he would not have the stamina to get through it, and he would get too tired and lose it.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't struggling. Brain don't work, hands don't work, but my body remembers how to pixel art, and I'm awake. That's something. That's all I need. I talked so much shit going into this about what I was gonna do. And that's what I'm thinking about now.
He had this idea to hollow out and sell a ridiculous amount of pomegranate seeds. So I went into the basement. There were boxes and boxes and boxes of pomegranates, like as tall as I was, 6 back of pomegranates, and with a cutting board on one side, dice on the other, and we were having a conversation about our old role-playing game that we used to play with the sort of tap 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 like bongos of cleaning out pomegranate seeds in this mechanical fashion. He's really doing this. He's actually going to go through this entire thing of pomegranates today, and he's going to make an attempt. Like, I have friends, my friends at the time struggled to get in their car to go buy chicken nuggets down the fucking street. And here's this guy having a full-on conversation with me while he's got to be sitting behind $500, $600 of pomegranates, some sort of a scheme to sell for a profit all of their seeds in these little tiny cups. I'm like, that's dedication to something that's I just haven't seen in Redford in a long time. You know, it's my Tom story. There are more, but that's the one I recall right now.
Like to wrap so much pride up into that. That borders on mental illness. God, I can't imagine something that I want that badly eluding me.
Oh my god.
Stop that. Hey.
Yeah, I don't know what came over me.
Oh, I just got so shy. Feel like I can't stay awake for another minute.
Just worn out.
Nothing I want more than to hit the hay right now.
As soon as my head hits that pillow, boy, I tell you.
I'm gonna think about that by resting my eyes for just a second.
Yeah, just 1 or 2 seconds. Just don't let me nod off now. Just.
I just destroyed the same block and put it back like 4 times. It was the literal definition of insanity.
At the 24-hour mark, Tom makes it into uncharted territory. In only 13 hours, he had already placed more blocks than he had in his previous 24-hour stream. This was turning into a real gut check. Excuse me. This is turning into a real burper.
But I've been drinking sugar and caffeine. I'm stressed out and starting to get to the point where sleep will be a factor. I'm tired, my hands hurt, a little dizzy. I have to just completely start this row over. I totally fucked it up. First time I've done this in a long time. And it's always the fucking red and brown rows that get me. This is me being worried I don't have enough time to finish. Fuck. Where am I? I totally lost my bearings. There I am. Especially because I'm slower now. I planned for fatigue. Mental fatigue. So the mechanics are still there. My fingers, they're taped up. They're working.
While he keeps a smile on his face for everyone watching him do this, after so many hours, his energy is running low. Tom decided it was time to bet everything on one last trick he had been saving in case of an emergency.
Now, Kyle, I have a request.
Mm-hmm.
So much emotion in one syllable. I'd like to cash in my chip for a once-in-a-lifetime motivational speech.
You want a motivational speech? All right, like what kind of motivational speech are you thinking?
Let's go with Eminem's "You Got One Shot."
You only got one shot.
Something like that.
And our speaker, Mr. Gumbercules' #1 pick. He's known as the Motivator. First name Kyle, last name redacted. He is the one, the only God OS.
You'll never be motivated by me again. I need you to recognize that.
All right. The stage is yours.
That's all you're gonna get is 2 minutes of vigorous throat clear. All right. Who do you think you are? Who is it exactly you think you are? You know who you are. You're Tom Brisby. Thomas fucking Brisby. The master of the mundane. The general who always marches into what seems like a useless and fruitless cause, only to come out the other side completely satisfied with himself and feeling like he never wasted a second of his own time. What could be more precious than that? A man completely satisfied with the effort that he has exerted. To most, quit is just a natural state. Once you come up against something that you think is insurmountable. But for you, for Thomas fucking Brisby, quit is the only 4-letter word you won't abide. Quit is not something inherent to you. We are all of us just a bundle of cells with an emergent property known as consciousness. And even within that, there is something that is overlooked deep down in your core that most men would just write off as silly, as nonsense. But for you, it's like a battery, like that goddamn Duracell bunny constantly beating his drum, ignoring everything that goes on around him until he reaches his goal, until it is satisfied with what it has done. Your true worth is not what those without think about you. It's what you think about you from within. And that is what will truly see you to the stage that you want to be. You have set yourself another challenge and you stare it down as you approach the finish line. It cowers and quakes with each step you take because it knows and you know that there is no quit in Tom. That's all I got.
Everyone else is clapping too. I'm the only one you can hear. That was.
What's this? It's Kabuki Man Randy Savage. That's his music. It's Kabuki Man Randy Savage. And why shouldn't it be? It wouldn't be a double Minecraft world record without Kabuki Man Randy Savage running full force into the ring in front of a sold-out capacity crowd. It looks like he needs to get something off his chest.
Mr. Gumbercules is a man's man. He knows what he wants. He goes and gets it. He is the man. He is the one that I have begun to look up to as a role model. Mr. Gumbercules is the one and the only true champion. And Tholar, I'm coming for you. We're coming for you. You're not gonna stop us. You can't take that away from us. Mr. Gumbercules is the most stubborn and difficult man you'll ever encounter. And if you make that record, he's gonna make the record double. Anyone who comes for this record is gonna have to pay, and they're gonna have to crawl through dirt and blood and hell to get there. Yeah.
So 127 over 79. That's good even for me, normal.
Like, I want the next person who does this to have to suffer.
All right, who's ready to go another 36?
That is 10 minutes later.
I know it's just a game. I know it's not like he was running a super marathon or something. I know it was just a game, but at the same point, how do you stay awake that long without getting any shut-eye? How do you concentrate that long? How do you not get a headache? How do your eyes not hurt? How do your hands not cramp up?
It's remarkable. Tom has a superpower, and it's concentration. He has the ability to focus and hone in on something and go get it. His work ethic is second to none.
He's been up for, 30 some odd hours and he's still plugging away at this thing. Like, how is he even moving at all?
I'm thinking about every person that I ever told what I was going to do. Every promise that I put out into the universe, I put out there that I was going to do it. And to a guy like me, that's a powerful thing. Keeping my word is very important to me. That's pretty much all I have. And if I say I'm going to do something for somebody, then there needs to be no doubt in that person's mind based on how I've acted in the past that they're going to get exactly what I've said they're going to get from me. Yes, we know Tom has the work ethic and has the promise-keeping superpowers.
Tom has never broken any promises with him. He's always followed through.
Yeah, I can't recall a promise that Tom has broke to me.
I've never seen it. I've never seen Tom break a promise. When Tom speaks it becomes an absolute and then it becomes a goal.
Tom's never really broken any promises to me or to anybody that I've seen.
I can't recall from the time that I met Tom that he broke a promise. But if he said, I'm going to do this or I'm going to take this to the best of his ability and in his control, it's done that way. And that's just the type of person that he is. If they got to send back pineapples, it's not his fault. It's somebody else's fault.
I don't think Tom has ever broke a promise to me.
But if Tom says he's gonna do something, I've never seen him not come through.
I don't think Tom's ever broken a promise to me that I know of. I've broken a ton to him.
I don't know if Tom ever making a promise that he didn't come through on. So he doesn't break his promise. So his word is good.
Start by making promises to yourself and keeping them. You can keep a promise to yourself, you can keep a promise to anybody.
Because it's pretty much the only thing that's keeping me going. You guys don't know me. I'm just a streamer, dude. You don't know the kind of guy I am or what's important to me. Same way as I don't know you. I'd like to get to know you. But there is nothing in this world that I value more than keeping my own word. I said I was gonna do this. I said I would.
Mm-hmm.
That was all it took. I don't know, maybe that doesn't sound significant.
No, I mean...
But to me...
You're accountable.
The core of my being keeps promises.
And that word, all the power I need. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I can't do anymore. You'll find me slumped over in this chair before that happens. Feeling tired, guys. But I got a few more in me. Alright, there's 4 hours left. 4 hours and some change. And I'm being held together with spit and bubble gum. And medical tape. Oh, speaking of Jigsaw, you better tell, unless he, for whatever reason, is beefing with me. Is that a Twitch beef right now? OG Network and Mr. Gumbercules? Is that a totally true rumor that I just started? Let him know he's got 3 hours left. Hand is not doing good. But it doesn't have to do good for much longer.
Finish up and go to bed, damn it.
The story or the pixel art? Because I'm dragging both out. I'm pixeling as hard as I can. Pixel harder.
Like a zealot. He's committed himself to this course. He has steered his entire life into the skid. And I want to see where it ends up. Whether he ends up just driving down the road normally, living the life of his dreams, or if he ends up with his car flipped 13 times in the ditch.
Ludwig von Brakes broken.
Either way, it should be absolutely spectacular to witness, and I have a front row seat.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
I think I'm going to finish the pixel art and the record at the same time. That's always been the goal. I don't know if I'll hit it. It's tight timing for such a big project.
So my first thing was, man, how does he just have the endurance to do what he's doing? That's pretty amazing. And then you start thinking, like, what type of person would really even want to do this? Like, why would you do that? I don't know. But hey, it's what he did. So I think it's cool.
Quite literally, he went from not being involved in any way, shape, or form in the game to deciding, you know what? I'm going to go set a world record. I'm going to make sure that my goals are hit every single day.
The hardest part when like you're dedicated to doing something, there's no other option but to do the thing you're doing. Even if it hurts, even if it drains you. The living with the knowledge that you couldn't complete that task would haunt you so much more.
Especially if you got close and didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. That's when you got to reach deep down and bring out your inner David Blaine.
So, OG Network, also known as OG Naku, he's on thin ice. We've got an hour to get here. I was so excited to see him at some point during this 36-hour stream. This defining stream. This project that I started, that inspired him to start streaming. We were both part of each other's formative Twitch experiences. Too exhausted to be tired? Nah, guys, you would imagine I'm struggling right now. It's not so much sleepiness as it is just things are hurting. I'm focusing so hard I have to remember to breathe. I'm holding my breath and it's raising my heart rate. You gotta be careful. I can go fast. I just have to breathe. I have been on an incredible run this last, I'd say 90 minutes. I'm afraid if I step away, I'll lose it. My dad's here? Cool. Back door's unlocked, right? Hey, Dad.
Hey, Tim.
How you doing?
You tired yet or what?
Yeah. So this here's the chat here. It's all nonsense usually, but some of them are saying hi, Dad.
Oh, is this still part of the picture, or is this something different?
What's that?
What you're doing right now?
This part?
Yeah, is that part of your?
Yes, it's the border.
Yeah.
When I got just a little bit more to go.
You gonna hit 3 million blocks?
I'm over 3 million now.
Alright, I gotta head out.
All right, Dad. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Keep going here. You're almost there.
Yeah.
Can't believe you did this long.
34 and counting.
It's insane.
That was really cool. That was really cool that he stopped by. Highlight of the stream. And I like my dad. I like spending time with him, and I really liked showing this off. Like, this was the adult grown-up version of look what I can do. So, there's 10 minutes exactly. Let's do the over-under on OG Network. I'm betting no.
Yeah, no. Looks like it's a no for him, dog.
He had 36 hours worth of opportunities.
I really want you to pick up that floating block over there.
That floating block giving you trouble?
Yeah, it's giving me the business.
I'll grab it when I go back over there. Or is that too late?
The damage is done.
Where is it?
It's all the way down there. Yeah.
You weren't expecting Hulk Hogan, were you?
No. Jesus Christ.
Really. So I've had intermittent numbness in my fingers. Just tips. Like I would be concerned about it, but I'm almost done. I really hope this tingling is temporary.
All right, Tom. You still have a little over 3 minutes to crash your chair into your ceiling.
I think there's as much chance of that happening as
I don't believe it! I don't believe it! This is unprecedented! It's
OG Network! You motherfucker! I was just about to say.
You have no choice now.
I have none. No, I'm not gonna do that.
That was perfect.
Like I was just about to throw you under the bus again. Okay, there's no beef between OG now. He kept his word. He said he'd stop by. Wow, I was talking about you from like hour one. Like, when are you gonna be here? When are you gonna be here? Like I wanted you to be here as much as I wanted my dad to show up.
And now both things happen.
Both of those things happen.
Right
That
under the
was-
wire.
You know what? And here's the thing, that bastard. Like, there's so much underlying tension.
Mm-hmm.
And the entrance. Like, you couldn't have written a better timed entrance. I was just about to throw the guy under the bus.
Yep.
And he said, hello. Yeah, you win this round. Uchi Network. You played the long game and you won. Which, if you ask Tom Brisby, winning by playing the long game is the best kind of winning. 3, 2,
Oh,
one.
they took my freaking kid.
Wow, right at the buzzer, Maybach. That's a good one. Alright, that beeping is killing me. I didn't know it was going to beep so loud. It's killing my joy. It's happening. You're tainting the moment. Alright, let's stop that. Stop it. Alright. I prepared something for this. It wasn't easy to find, but I was able to find a Minecraft trophy for biggest pixel art. So this is clearly the world record champ for longest single game of Minecraft.
That is.
He's got a little pickaxe, see?
That is awful. I think you also broke the record for worst trophy ever cobbled
Worst.
together with things you found around the house.
I'm gonna hang out with my little dude.
And then your little dude's gonna commit suicide the moment you take your eyes off it.
That's how I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, phone with Chris Man, $5.
Gumber coo champ gumber.
Killing me small.
Gumber coo champ gumber coo champ gumber coo
Ooga
champ
shaka,
gumber coo
ooga
champ
shaka.
gumber coo champ gumber coo champ gumber coo champ.
I've got a surprise, a little bit of a surprise for you guys. Maybe not a surprise if you know me. I may have hit my goal, but I have not yet reached my limit. I still have this many pixels left to complete the world's largest pixel art in the game of Minecraft. I still have just enough energy that I could take a shot at it and make it just a little bit harder for the next poor bastard who wants to take a run at longest game of Minecraft. And when you've been awake for 36 hours, who the fuck cares? There's no difference. None between 36 and 37.
That is untrue on every level. That could not have possibly been less of a true statement. I will count that up to your growing space madness.
As long as you keep your hands off my ice cream bar, then you can attribute whatever the heck you want to my growing space madness.
Space.
Oh, there's Vince.
I guess you could say that I'm Tom's boss.
I'm watching too, Dick. Well, let me throw this one out to my amazing boss, because this is the only time I'll ever fucking get away with this. Vince, this one's for you. No, in all seriousness, you guys are amazing. Let's say it again. I have all these buttons that I programmed. You know what? Let's take just a quick break for the people who stuck around to watch me finish this. You don't need to see that little bit get built, but what you do want to see is a little bit of this pixel art that I put together. My dad, congrats! He got home in time to watch the record. Keep on going. Thanks, Dad. I have no idea what I'm watching, but thanks. You're quite a dude, Tom. Congratulations from Philly. Thanks. You're the best boss. You came in and watched my Twitch stream. That's grade A right there. Vince, if you're still watching, I don't know if you remember this, and now's your only chance to get out of it. Offhandedly, a good number of months ago, I said, you want to interview for my documentary about this project? And you said,
yeah.
I'd love to have your voice as a part of the picture as what is Tom Brisby, because other people are going to need all the help they can get understanding the answer to that question. He's answering me right away. What is he saying? I'm still watching, and I remember he's still in. Fuck yeah! I don't know if you know this or not. You have a catchphrase, and I love it. And every time you say it, I want to laugh, even if you're mad, which sometimes I have to kind of like not show my joy at it. Every time you say I'm dead fucking serious, I love it.
I really need that to make it into the interview. That doesn't matter what the context is. I'll cut it. I'll use it. And I'm dead fucking serious. You could use my catchphrase. I'm dead fucking serious. This guy.
No, they say that when you're talking like publicly, you got to think of everyone naked. So that's what I'm envisioning right now. Kind of just so you know, it's really. I'm trying so hard not to laugh because I'm just thinking about you naked.
It's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's really what we're doing.
I'm gonna finish it up, and yeah, call it a night. Because I've been up for 36 hours. It's so long. It's a new record for me.
Yeah, and that is retardedly big.
What, the pixel art?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's only half of it. I've only rendered half of it. I'm going back. I'm turning back. In the wake of all the celebration, I just kind of had a serious thought for me. I'm the best fucking guy in the world at this. At this moment, there is nobody in the world better at playing a long game of Minecraft than me. And in about 20 minutes, there's not going to be a better guy than sticking to place some blocks to make a giant picture than me. The other guys are better at other stuff. This one's mine. Until somebody tries to take it. And the joke's on them. They have never quarreled with my insanity. Why is my fingertips are tingling? Just this one. The left hand. It's not good. Is it nerve damage? It's nerve something. Let's take this wrist brace off. Maybe I'm not getting enough circulation. Yeah, that's fucking nuts. In 36 hours, I built more than 10% of the current world record.
Yep.
I'm a little bit concerned that my hands have gone past the ability to like have the sorts of cramps they were having early. My bones are so brittle.
Too much malt. You're in the game now.
I powered through 2 coats of deodorant.
I bet my last dollar, if the record was 4 million, Tom would have done 5. So no, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
In fact, I've been doing this for so long, and I'm so far past the world record right now that this is kind of uncharted territory. Like, I don't know if there's another faster pixel artist in the world right now for this game. I kind of would like to find one so we could race.
We're losing a sense of individual purpose in our lives. We're not committed to the things that used to give us meaning. And so people are emotionally and intellectually adrift. And so it actually seems like a meaningful use of time to go online and watch someone perform the most monotonous task.
I don't want my accomplishment tied in any way to the previous record holder. Like, if I beat it by 10 blocks, it's that Tom guy. Yeah, he's the guy that beat the previous record by 10 blocks. Oh, who had the previous record? No. The only time I want them mentioning the previous record holder is when they say that he wasn't even close to what I did because I went so far past it.
So what I was thinking is the last guy who did the world record for Minecraft, he didn't do as much in terms of playing the game. You know, when you're running around through the fields or mining blocks or whatever, you can almost kind of rest while you're doing it. But this entire project, based on my progress, I've averaged more than a block a second for the entire 36 hours.
He's pretty much just punching it in the face at this point. Like, he's already, as far as completing his project, it's done. Everyone else is just racing for second at this point. But yeah,
the last guy who built a record pixel art, not to take anything away from him, 1 million pixels at that time is a ridiculous number. It still is, just not in comparison anymore. The thing I liked the most about this specific record is that it was just a drive-by. As long as you're out. Ooh, can't believe it. It'll be nice to be done with this. I can do something else, anything else. This Tom project took on a life of its own here. I'm a little excited with this extra rope. Does not exist on this pixel art, which is fine because I was fabricating it because I thought I needed it. Look, there are no small viewers. Only small streamers.
Only scale streamers.
Yeah, I reach scale viewers of several hundred.
Honestly, good job at breaking your goal, keeping with it. I never would have. I wouldn't have made it past day 2.
Please, I don't say this to pump you up because you're on your way, but dude, I can't tell you how proud I am of you.
But really, where do you go from there?
Trying to build up that Roblox. And
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Roblox pixel art record. What is it? It's 8. Okay, I'm
just a traveling champion.
nobody cares. Yeah, it's just a trap. Like, I'm gonna come into your house, get really good at the thing you love, take it, and then throw it away immediately like it meant nothing.
I mean, it would be viable if there were only 2 things like this thing you're doing.
There's this dude who makes pixel art out of old keyboards.
How about that?
He takes the keys off the keyboard and dyes them different colors and then attaches them to something and makes pixel arts. He's done some projects that I could easily replicate. Like, maybe that's the thing. I'll go to other people's pixel art specialties.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. Here's how many keyboards you needed.
He's already shattered the previous record. He's doubled it. So I mean, I'm interested in seeing this final count. I mean, it's going to. I think it's going to blow everyone away.
I don't know what the future holds for Tom, but regardless of where he ends up, I respect his commitment to pursue the thing that he wants.
I have no idea where Tom will go next. I don't even know if Tom understands where he's going to go next. Maybe he has some master plan he hasn't clued me in on yet. But I'm sure it'll be exhausting and entertaining all at the same time.
I have a plan to get to where I want to be. I want to get paid to make videos and talk and be silly. That is such a small percentage of the population that gets that.
I predict that he will get a real upsurge in people paying attention to him. That's going to get him.
Well, if you know all about us, then you know we're going to get you. Get them!
That's going to get the people coming to it. That's going to be the clarion call, the cheese to attract people to the trap, the honey trail that leads to Tom Brisby land. But once they're there, he's got to keep them. This is going to be a very useful and powerful trail. I think it'll do the job.
This pixel art is not the goal. It's a very important piece, but this is not where it ends. This is where it begins.
He's getting into documentary filmmaking. If the bug hits him, I would imagine some kind of a show or creative endeavor that tries to catalog the games that he plays and the people that he plays with and somehow dramatizes them or turns them into something that can be marketable. Knights of the Dinner Table, The Guild.
You whisper the exorcism into the demon's ear.
Exorcismus te, omnis immundus spiritus, omnis satanico potestas, omnis incursio, adversarius, omnis legio, omnis congratio, el sector diabolica, ergo draco maledicte, ecclesiam tuum syracuse tibi, facius libertate, severe tirogamis. Then I stroke his cheek. Audinos.
So yeah, you smoke this thing out, and then you kind of get demon smoke running through your fingers, which feels a little weird. You're feeling like a total badass right now.
It's the most badass moment of his life, and no one was here to see it.
We have people who can do this shit, and they're all tied into it. I think Tom's probably going to identify something in that could be used, especially if he's trying to get into YouTube and he's gonna try to find a way to make that work for him and probably other people involved if they care to put in even a quarter of the effort that he can. I don't know. If he doesn't, I think it's a missed opportunity.
All right, so I just have a few more blocks to place. Finished. All right, let's call official time. So the big pixel art's done too, guys. Big giant pixel art is finished. So I kind of blew the budget on the first trophy, but I have another one.
Equally terrible and certain.
This is my trophy for world's largest pixel art.
Just the worst. Minimal effort.
All right, it's done. I'm done. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm going to let the old guy hang on to it for a little bit until I get the big announce. But yeah, this is the biggest pixel art now. Mine's bigger than his.
You bigger than me?
I sure hope when this documentary is done that it's watchable and not cringy.
I don't know if Aaron was on Team Tom in terms of thinking I could.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he was just doing the lip service. Or if he was like secretly hoping I would fail.
I think I'd be more surprised if it took off than if it didn't.
Smug bastard with his fancy chair and paper towels. Functional relationship.
His ad-free Hulu subscription.
Ability to go 8 hours without alcohol.
I'll show him.
Don't forget about the dog food.
First of all, bacon strips do not taste like bacon. They're like grainy. If almost smoky was a flavor, they almost taste like that. They are for dogs. They smell like bacon. Why wouldn't they taste like bacon? Right. Why shouldn't I try eating one? To be fair, I've also tried Alpo food treats. The little squares, those things are terrible too. I don't have a lot of self-control because my dog just loved them. I'm like, really? Like, what is this? I had good teeth then too. I could like eat a crunchy food. All of the days when I could eat dog treats.
Anything else?
No person, male, female, straight, gay, can resist Brad Pitt's abs.
What? Okay.
The last act is starting to drag a little bit. This has been a blast. Let's bring it home and do it again sometime.
He's done so much with his life and he's come so far. He's a really good guy. Through everything that we've been through, I think he's turned out all right.
I just think you should try and do what you enjoy doing with your life. Stupid saying, but you live every day. You only die once. People have it backwards. Everybody says, you only live once, but that's not true. You live every single day. You only die once. So we gotta take every single day and live it and try and enjoy it and try not to be miserable. Obviously, every day is not going to be a good day, but if you make the best of it, that's all you can hope for, and then maybe the next day is going to be better because you only got one shot.
I can't think of a better way to end
I found a sticker of my face on the unicorn's butt. So I guess he wasn't trying to drive me crazy. There really was a sticker with my face somewhere new. Is that the only one? No, there's more. I'm never going to find them, am I? Who knows? Are they on the Pac-Man table? See, I'm going to be tortured for ages trying to find these damn stickers. I should have never bought them. I should have gotten the socks with my face on them. That would have been a much safer purchase.
Good night, everybody.
Having said all that, I'm Tom Gumbercules, the Game Master.
My name is Matt Peterson.
My name is Kyle.
My name is Sarah Blackburn.
Well, see, I started as Dark Demon Slayer and changed to Dark Demon Modding.
My name's Tom Brisby.
My name is Aaron Anderson.
Tom Brisby Sr.
My name is Travis Sarah.
Corey. My name is Corey Lawrence.
I'm Vincent Reggio.
I'm Philip Vogt.
My name is Christopher Campbell.
Yeah, my name's David Hunt.
My name is Laylee Brisby.
And I'm Chad Bush. I'm the narrator.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.
It's been a pleasure and an honor. So long, everybody.
All right, dudes. I'm done. So, I think I feel some stuff starting to catch up with me, guys. Thanks for keeping me company for all this time. It was a big old journey. Goodbye.
I said to myself, what's the biggest one of these in the world?
The idea of the breaking 2 world records at once thing was insanity to me.
Tom knows that I like Tom, but I don't like Tom's project.
What am I going to spend time doing? Fuck it. Buying a badass gaming chair and making the world's biggest Minecraft pixel art.
I thought this is the kind of rote activity normally only a convict would undertake.
To clone a guy like Tom, I'm not sure that it's even possible in a lab.
I look at that and I think that it's unbelievably impressive. And as a professional in digital art, I couldn't do that.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I mean, literally, he just looked like Produce Jesus. Smelled like a grocery store. Denim shirt, denim jacket, denim pant, hair below the shoulders.
And he wanted to have an actual sword fight in the middle of his wedding.
I was approached by the sales manager and the general manager asking me what the hell I thought I was doing.
Who does that, right? You know, who has we had actual swords.
Tell me you're not going to hire the guy. I'm going to hire the guy. I had the interview. They didn't. All they did was judge on the outside.
The black talk never ended. It was, why did I marry him?
He really doesn't give a fuck what people think. It just doesn't matter to him.
Tom's a very unusual person, that's for sure.
And Tholar Tholarian, that record is mine. I'm coming for you, yeah, baby.
Oh, it's weird as fuck. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Where's Gumbercules? Where is he? I'll find him, and then I'm coming for you.
Why the fuck would you do that? You know, what's the endeavor to do it, you know?
He thinks that he is the most funny man on the planet, I think.
Jesse, we have to cook. My cancer's back. We have to cook now. Jesse! Jesse! Every time. Jesse!
And I think it's from Tom's desire to push the boundaries and the limits of what a system can do.
For the next 40 minutes, all I could think about was how hard I had to poop. If I could just get one fart, that would make all this better.
Let's fly up and see what this looks like from farther away.